do.
I
But
don't. The only thing I have to say about Moonfall is whatever trailer house put together that trailer, um, fuck you guys because it is the loudest trailer I've ever heard in my life.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. You're late.
welcome to Pizza Time. It's Ed. Your boys are back for the weekend.
What's
going on,
up?
Alex? How you been?
I'm good, man. We're hanging in there. Another week, another podcast.
Hell yeah,
So
man! And we got
our
new
lives now.
digs. We got new digs. Look
Mm.
around. We got a new background,
Oh
baby.
yeah, look at our new background. Upgrades.
Welcome. Yeah, upgrades.
Upgrade you.
Every week, little by little.
Click and subscribe.
Yeah, yeah,
Hit that
yeah.
like button. I don't know if you
You're gonna
want.
see some
But
cool stuff. You're gonna see some more cool stuff on here.
it's
But
only
yeah,
gonna
we
get
got new
better and better.
digs. Looks good. Hopefully the
Looks
red
great.
doesn't hurt people's eyes. I think it's good. I think it's okay though.
I think it's fine.
Right?
It looks good to me. Looks
Okay,
very,
good.
very good to me.
Profesh.
We are super professional. Look at this. I mean,
Hell yeah.
god damn, man. Like it's like we know what we're
Oh my
doing.
god.
Almost know. It's like we've
Almost,
done
yeah.
it before,
Right.
which we have,
Right.
but not for ourselves.
It's so hard for nerds to like give each other compliments.
Yeah,
We
I
always gotta
can't.
retract it back. It's like, well, we're still nerdy.
Yeah, it's hard for me to give a compliment to
Me
myself.
too. Yeah, we're both the
anytime.
same. We're both
Like
the same in that regard.
after I
Like
finish an
we
edit,
don't know what to do. We're
yeah.
just like,
After I finish an
thanks.
edit, that was really good. Oh,
Yeah.
are you? I always want to be like
Thank
defensive.
you.
You making fun of me? You fucking.
Yeah,
You
you
want to
get
fight
mean
me?
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to fight, bro? I'll.
The mental instability comes out. So like, wait,
Yeah. We're all
you
insecure.
take it as you're all insecure. No. This is why we get along. This is why we're your two hosts. Anyways, this week, episode 5, we got some news to kick off your week. Some fun stories this week that I'm really excited to talk to Alex about. And then the main Kahona 2022.
Yes, sir.
See a look forward. The opposite direction of what we went with last week's episode 2021, our hits and misses. Check that out if you haven't yet. 2022. Pretty good year, it seems like, man. There's some hot
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm
Hot
excited.
stuff coming this year. I'm super
mean,
excited.
More than just the
Yeah.
Marvel films, I'm excited for a couple. When I was researching,
Yeah.
2022 films, there's some that popped up, some that I forgot about, and some that I'm very, very, very now intrigued to watch because I had no idea they were coming out.
Absolutely. There was some stuff here that I also completely forgot. There were some that have gone under the radar, interestingly. Like they've
Yeah,
been announced
100%.
yet marketing wise and all that. It's still a little
Nothing.
bit up in the air.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited. And one movie in particular has been coming a long time. I don't want to say it yet.
Oh,
But you're gonna want to hear our talk on this later. Long time coming,
Oh,
baby.
oh
We're
boy.
gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. All
I
right.
think
All
I
right. Well,
know
we're gonna start.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We've talked about it before. I'm so excited.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyways, we'll start off with some news. I want to start off with something that just got released last night, actually, super late, and we posted this on our Instagram. Jason Momoa has been cast in F10, reportedly as a villain. We don't know what villain he is playing, but he's part of the cast. So I just want to get
Yeah.
your quick thoughts on that news when you heard about it.
It feels to me that they're trying to replace The Rock. That this is their gut reaction to saying he's not coming back, and now we know he's not coming back. And I mean, there's a little sliver of me that thinks The Rock's gonna put whatever Vin Diesel and him have aside, and he will come back. But I think this is their money grab. This is their new money grab. Sorry, John Cena, Jason Momoa. I would not be surprised if John Batista joined it. Dave Batista, sorry. I just think they're trying to get every big star they can to come back in to the fray here, and I think they're hoping it fixes the movies. But as we talked about last episode, F9 was like such a disappointment, and I've kind of lost all interest in the franchise going forward. So Jason Momoa doesn't make me any more excited.
I pretty much agree with everything you said, except for the fact that The Rock is coming back. Dwayne Johnson, I don't think it's done.
It's my
done,
personal
man.
thing. I think.
No, I
tiny
understand.
sliver.
I
Yeah.
understand. It'd be interesting because if you saw him come on screen, I think the fans would lose their absolute shit, especially after what happened. If you don't know, the Rock and
Yeah.
Vin have been having a feud for years now. There have been a few times where they can't even film together,
Right.
particularly on F8. and he wasn't even an F9. So lately they've sort of squashed their beef, but then just most recently, it seems like Vin tries to sort of take control of situations a little
Yeah.
too heavily, to get to maybe a little too excited. And The Rock
Yeah.
recently has stated, "Yeah, no, if you're gonna force me into a bit of a box there, if you think you're just gonna like take
Yeah.
control of my career like that, yeah, we can stay maybe amiable friends, but I'm not gonna join your F10. I'm
Yeah.
done."
Yeah.
So that
Eh,
was the latest with The Rock and Vin, and so I don't think that's happening. It seems pretty damn serious. It seems like cat and mouse,
Yeah, I mean,
and
it seems legit that they, or well, at least I guess both of them really don't like each other, and it's
yeah,
like
I don't
it's
think they're
not
trying to
even
connect
like
up each other.
a
No,
fun disagreement. It's like, no,
no,
I effing hate that guy, and I hate that guy. So and I don't
I'm
really know
sorry.
what it's about. I think it was like on-set behavior or something like that, and but like I said, maybe there's a sliver, and if they could keep it a secret, I agree with you. It would be I mean, fans aren't they're not the same type of fans as No Way Home, but it would be a No Way Home
No, you're
reaction
right,
as to when
right.
Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire came on. People would
Yeah,
be screaming. But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
again, Jason Momoa, nah, who cares? I've lost all interest in the franchise. That's how bad Fast 9, like how
Yeah.
bad of a taste Fast 9 left me with.
Hmm.
I just no one can carry it anymore, and yeah, I don't really care. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe if John Cena starts acting like Peacemaker John Cena, that funny type of John Cena, maybe I'll be more interested in it. But the serious John Cena, I haven't been able to buy into it yet.
you're so right. Peacemaker's been awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
And so it would be John Cena's coming back as Dom's brother. I'm pretty sure,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I think he's gonna bring it. But yeah, I feel the same way. I don't really care at this point. It seems it's just like a typical play. It's not like really a surprise
Hmm.
to me that Momoa was coming in. It's definitely a response to The Rock saying no, and
Yeah.
we need another big hulking testosterone
Samoan.
filled man. Yeah, Samoan. To take on a villain role because that's what people want to see,
Yeah.
and this is where the critical mistake is, I think, in their logic, in that the mistake hasn't been that they're missing another huge
Big
hulking
name.
man.
Yeah.
It's they're missing their Brian O'Connor. They're
Yeah.
missing that brothership, that true brothership that Vin had with Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And unless they mend that, it's not going to be the same. It's just not. And
Yeah.
so it
No,
looks like they're not going to do that here. Although they kind of teased Brian in the end of F9,
they did. I
which
feel
is
like
I'm
we're
like,
gonna
what
see
the
him.
well, what is that about? Like,
I think we're gonna see it digitally.
oh
On his
god,
face. I think we're gonna see him. I hope if they do it, I hope it's tasteful. Um,
I
but
just
yeah, I think that like where Hobbs and Shaw found success was that you know sorry, not Vin Diesel, Jason Statham and The Rock, they worked well together. And look, I think
they
Hobbs and
did,
Shaw is a very fun movie, and it does have a lot of flaws. Like, okay, we get it, you guys hate each other. Like, it's a little too much of that before they start working together. But
yeah,
it worked because the chemistry worked, and you just don't have that. Like Tyrese doesn't have it. I mean, Tyrese and
no,
Ludacris kind of have it, but like no one cares about them. They want to
right,
see if Vin Diesel's going to be the star. You have to have chemistry, and between you know, John Cena is supposed to be the new Brian O'Connor, like the actual brother,
right.
and I will see if that happens, but I
Yeah,
doubt
we'll
it.
see. I don't think so.
Yeah,
And you're right. The more you think about it, the more we talk about it, it's like Brian really was the heart of that
yeah,
franchise. He was the one who was really connected to all the most of the characters in a way that he was sort of the regular boy, and so it made sense for everyone to sort of be able to connect him versus Vin, who's always this
yeah,
alpha,
yeah,
and you don't always get on that level with that kind of person,
yeah,
and yeah, it's missing that, and now you keep bringing more alphas, and it's just like
yeah. It's not what it
what at
needs.
what point does this become expendables? At what point does
Right.
it just become a bunch of stars that you want to see that is on
Yeah.
screen, and you're
Yeah.
losing a lot of what really matters, which is
Yeah.
again story and
Yeah.
character building.
I think that
Yeah, it's over.
it's unfortunately it's a dying franchise, and it's
It
gonna
is.
end, and it needs to end. But Fast 10 will be a two-parter, so
Yeah.
it's not
Okay.
gonna end until 2023
Yeah.
and 2024.
I
So
really hope they call it FX. I mean,
I
and
don't
FX2,
FX2.
which is
Wait, they
already
can't
exists
call it.
though.
Yeah, those are
I
movies
forgot.
already.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
exist. Yeah,
special.
that'd be
That's a
so
great.
funny.
That's a under the
Or
radar movie, by the
FFX.
way.
Oh, well, that's also Final Fantasy X. Shit, they're in trouble. Yeah, never
FFX.
mind.
Isn't that like that's also? Oh no, FXX. That's a cable
FX
channel.
or a porno. I don't know.
No, no, no. Three X's for the porno.
I'm kidding. Yeah, yeah,
Moved on.
yeah. Next
Jason
piece of
Momoa.
news.
Don't care.
Next piece of news. What we talked about earlier. Guardians 3
Ooh,
has a piece of news that we heard from James Gunn. James has stated that this is the last time we will probably see this particular team, this band of
together.
misfits,
Yeah.
together. And I don't think that's too surprising.
No.
We know that this is the final one. We've heard inklings that someone on the team is probably going to say bye bye.
Yeah.
And
I
so
mean,
it's not, but it's also just hard. But it is hard to hear, right? As a
yeah,
Guardians
yeah, yeah.
fan,
Exactly.
and it's hard to hear. It's hard to like finally come to terms with the fact, yeah, this is probably the end of Guardians as we know it, and it's a testament to how huge that franchise really skyrocketed
Yeah.
when it came out, and how much it's entered, you know,
Zeitgeist of
yeah, the
fandom. Yeah.
zeitgeist. And
Yeah.
people, it's a household name. Like
Yeah.
all kids that grew up on that know who those people are, and
Everybody knows it. Yeah.
it's done. We're still gonna see them in Thor: Love and Thunder as well this year, so it's not
Correct.
like a complete thing. But yeah, what is your take on hearing that from James with the Guardians?
I think it's similar to yours. It's like it's still sad, but you kind of knew it was coming. Like Dave
Mm,
Bautista's been hinting. He's said in several interviews, "Look, I can't. I'm 50 something years old now. I can't just be, taking off my shirt and playing a shirtless character." Which that's completely and totally fair. Like I'm sure you have to work out a lot to look the way you look, especially for Guardians and to play as Drax. And he's also said he wants to do other roles like comedies.
mm.
Like I thought Stuber, the cop comedy he did with Kamal
Lil Not
Najami,
Johnny, yeah.
um, was hilarious. It was super under the radar.
Hmm.
It was so funny. It was so stupid, but it was really funny. And so I think he's done. And I have read a rumor that Bradley Cooper will step away from Rocket after this movie, which that makes me way, way, way more sad um than Drax stepping away. Dave Batista.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
that makes me
Why?
so I just when I see Rocky Raccoon, I hear his voice and I think he's had some of the coolest moments, in the prison where he grabs and he goes, "Oh yeah," or then in Guardians 2, which a lot of people I think didn't like, but I really liked that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In Guardians 2 where he says, "Welcome to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy," except he didn't use freaking. I just he's had some such great memorable lines, and that one makes me a little bit sad. I do think Chris Pratt and Zoe Saldana are sticking around, and they'll lead the next team of Guardians if there is another Guardians. It won't be James Gunn's Guardians, we know that because I think this is also his last film. So it's like it's an end of an era, but look, you got three great movies and you got characters that you're gonna remember forever. So what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Because I'm for franchises. I'm for death in a weird way. Like I'm for finality.
Oh yeah, that's way better put.
Sorry, I had to put that up there. That way,
For
I'm
death.
for finality. I'm for finality. I love it when a franchise can just, or a franchise, even characters, whatever. Like
Yeah,
having a, even just having breaks nowadays. I feel like we can't have it. I
right.
feel, when we used to have like 4 years between a movie. Now it's like almost every year or 2 years, which maybe I'm just getting older, and
Yeah,
time dilation is getting a lot more narrow. But it feels like
that,
so soon. I remember as a kid, like every movie that came out felt like it was, I've been waiting for it forever.
yeah,
I
yeah,
miss
yeah,
that
yeah,
feeling of like, oh
yeah.
my god, I didn't know this was coming. I didn't, it's been years since I've seen them, even though it probably was like 3 years, 4 years, but I
Yeah,
still think that release dates are especially for popular franchises, are getting a lot more condensed, and so I miss that feeling. So
yeah,
I'm glad that we can finally, for the Guardians, say maybe a proper goodbye to this team. I agree that we're going to see a new team. Of Guardians, or probably be under another moniker, because I know the Guardians kind of mixed with the Avengers and or all the other teams in the comics or whatever. So
yeah, yeah.
we'll have another amalgamation of people. I
Mhm.
agree that Chris Pratt's going to come back. Zoe's probably going to come back.
He's not going
But
anywhere.
I think we're going to be done with Drax, and we're going to be done with Rocket, which it sucks because they are like the funny. I
Yeah,
think everyone's funny in a James Gunn
the
film, but
chemistry
they
just
are
works.
particularly, yeah,
Yeah,
they have the lines, they have the big
yeah,
lines, and yeah, it's sad, it really sucks. but I'm still excited for that film. James gonna kill it. I'm pretty sure. I think he's clearly aiming to make it a very emotional send off. He stated that this film is going to be not exactly what people think.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
um, it's
It's in
gonna go a
production
little
now.
bit left. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's currently in production, and that it's going to make people cry. It made the
Uh,
cast cry when they read. I mean, you hear that all the time. Of course, the
yeah, I
cast is
mean,
gonna say that the script made them cry, but
Game of Thrones
it,
people cried when they read the finale script.
because of how bad it was.
Yeah.
I'm
Ooh,
kidding.
burn.
Ooh, oh, I never watched that, so I just,
Oh, it was so
I'm just,
bad. Last season
I'm
was so
speaking,
bad.
for my friends who I don't know anybody who liked that finale. And anyways,
Hard pass.
that's another talk for another time if I ever
Yeah.
get to watching that show. But anyways, okay, great. Well, let's move on to our next
Yeah.
piece of news. So this one's one of my fun ones for the week. I don't know if you heard about this news,
Okay.
but Variety reported earlier this week that there are two fans that sued the company that produced the 2019 film Yesterday. Do you remember that film?
The Beatles one?
Yeah, the
Danny
Beatles one.
Boyle? Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. I remember that. Where the guy just like he hits his head and all of a sudden has the Beatles are dead. Or not dead. They
Or like they
never
never
started. Sorry. They
existed.
never
Yeah, it's
existed,
like a
not
it's a
dead.
No Way Home situation to
Yeah.
retroactively put that.
Doctor
And
Strange.
he wakes up
Okay.
and he
Okay.
realizes nobody knows the Beatles are, and he creates the songs. Basically, he's
Right.
credited for it. It's
Yeah,
actually a
yeah, yeah.
great synopsis, although the reception was not great on that film. So it's a surprise almost to hear that this is back in the news. But anyways, the main news is that a couple rented the movie on Amazon Prime for $3.99, and
$4. Okay.
$4, and they realized that Ana de Armas was cut out of the film, who is in the
God.
trailer, and this trailer is on the page still. So when they saw the trailer, they're like, "I love Ana de Armas. Let's watch this film." They realized she wasn't in it, and so what do? They are in a serious. They're trying to get a lawsuit up against Universal, in it to in pl- claiming that it was deceptive marketing, and seeks to recoup at least $5 million
For a
on
$4
behalf,
rental.
yes, on behalf of affected consumers.
So wait, are they
It-
just gonna spread out the $5 million to
I,
other
I don't
affected
know. That's
consumers?
I would assume so. I assume it's like one of those, those things you get in the mail where it's like, hey, T-Mobile's being sued because your internet was slow,
Oh
and
yeah, where you get like
you're part of it,
yeah, where
so
you
you
get like
get
two
money.
dollars back because they
Exactly.
settled
Yeah.
and nobody gets any money.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
What
What?
what what? So just from hearing that story, what do you what's your immediate? I want to know what you feel about that.
Okay, there's two immediate reactions. One, stop, shut up. Hey, who cares? Like, I get it. Maybe like I've seen the trailer. She looks like she's in the trailer for like 2 minutes. Anyway, I get it. Yeah, she's I don't know. She's on an armor. She's like a massive superstar now, and she's beautiful on top of it. And look, she seems like a charming person too, so like likable in real life as well. But who cares? Like what? But also the second thing is I don't know if you remember this, but when Paranormal Activity 2 came out way back when, there were a ton
Oh.
of scenes in that movie, in that trailer, sorry, that were never in the movie. And everybody left the theater and it became a massive thing saying, yo, none of the scenes that were promised to be in this movie in the trailer were there. Nothing was there. So look, I do think that a tiny, tiny bit of me is like, it is deceptive marketing. And you shouldn't do it if it's you know if it's as big as Paranormal Activity 2, because like half of the scenes weren't in the movie, like weren't in the trailer, were not in the movie, were never in the movie. Like half of the scary stuff promised wasn't there, and people were disappointed about it. But this is a little different. This is like one scene maybe, unless they became boyfriend and
I
girlfriend.
believe it was just a simple cameo. It was like
Oh,
one
then
scene.
no, get out of here.
Yeah.
No, get out of my face. No, I don't
But
need
I
that
did
nonsense.
my follow-up question though. I think it does bring up something interesting again about deceptive marketing. And obviously studios are going to do what they're going to do.
Right, yeah.
That's what it
You're
is.
trying to sell
They
your
gotta
movie,
sell they gotta sell
whatever.
the movie. And so I do think it is a bit of a small fish in a big pond situation here. That being said, I think they do bring up a very interesting point about deceptive marketing. I think it is obviously wrong. I do think it's wrong that Universal knowingly kept that trailer up way after the film's been out,
Mm,
and I think they projected that Anna, who back then was just, this was like maybe this, they shot this probably like 5 4 years ago. Anna at the time wasn't probably the biggest star yet, but now she has risen in status,
okay.
largely. And so
Okay.
they probably did know they were gonna ride those coattails by just like not touching it. They're just like, most people won't care. And most
Yeah.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't. Most people obviously won't give a shit to do it.
Yeah.
That being said, it does seem a little wrong to keep a huge star. Imagine a bigger movie, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a bigger
Right.
movie where you have, let's just for our sake as nerds, MCU.
Okay.
They kind of, this kind of happened in Infinity War a little bit, where they showed the in the trailers they showed the Hulk in full form on Wakanda.
Oh.
And but let's take something even more interesting, like let's say it's like John Krasinski in the new Madness film. You see like one shot of him, he says one line in the trailer, and they decide to cut his scene out of Madness.
Yeah, I think
That sucks, right?
that would be people would be up in arms about it. I think
To play an
into
olive
their
branch,
role.
right?
Yeah,
I know yesterday is not a bit as big of a film. That being said, it's kind of in the same vein, right?
yeah,
So
that's true.
I
Yeah,
understand their fervor. I understand why.
they did it.
Would I
Yeah,
go through the trouble for $4?
yeah. I mean, like that's a lot of trouble
No.
for $4. Like
Yeah.
lawsuits
No.
aren't they're not free.
No, they're not. The truth is they have a. I mean, they're probably, maybe they're just rich and bored at the end. I don't know who these people are,
It
but
could be that. Yeah,
you know,
100% could
they're
be
trying to
rich
make
and
a
bored
point.
people.
You know how a lot of people do now, they just want to make a point. They just want to complain about something. That being said, I there's some merit. I would say to the many things that people complain about today, this
Yeah,
has a little bit of merit. But do I think that the uphill battle is worth it? Will it actually
right.
change anything? No. I do think it brings up something about deceptive marketing, where it's just like it's not nice. I don't like it either. We've seen it happen,
Yeah,
and we've seen it happen particularly in the MCU, where it's not as bad anymore. It's not as atrocious as the Hulk thing.
yeah, yeah.
Although I understand why they
You
did that.
understand why they did that
They were
though. Like,
hiding a plot point. So
yeah.
I give them credit to that. They were basically hiding a plot point, which
But
was that,
I
you
see
know,
your point though. Like, if it's a bigger movie, and more people care about it, then
yeah,
yeah, I get it. Like, you
yeah,
should at least be like, a studio shouldn't be allowed to market movies
yes,
deceptively.
right,
It's
right.
period. Like,
And
don't
I
promise
like
something
it.
that's not going to be there.
I
You
like
know,
this little roadblock they put up, even though it probably won't be seen like most roadblocks. Like
right?
it's important to know that, because it's probably going to happen more and more. That's just the honest truth. And it's been
Yeah,
happening more and more. Deceptive marketing, like complete scenes aren't in there at all. Words aren't being said at all.
yeah.
They're using
Erasing Toby and Andrew from the
eh,
trailer of No Way Home.
exact. Yeah. Well, fuck. You brought up a good point. Stop it.
It
No, that's good.
backfired on
See,
you.
there's certain things there where it's like, okay, those are acceptable, because it
Yeah,
has like an other agenda. But this one feels a little, eh,
yeah,
because
because
it's
it's
straight up like
yesterday.
she's not in it. Like
Yeah,
really, she's not in it. Like they cut the scene out and she's in
yeah.
the trailers, and so it seems a
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
you
To
know,
that
it's
point,
a
deceptive marketing is like, don't
the
do
whole
that.
thing feels like a citizen's arrest kind of situation, and it's like, well, good job, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
did it.
thank you. Like we appreciate
Nothing's
your
gonna
passion,
change, but we
but
appreciate
this
it.
is
Good
not
job.
it's not gonna happen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good
So
on you.
I thought that was a funny piece of news from this week, that I was just like, what?
Yeah,
And so we'll move on to our next and last piece of news for before we jump into our 2022 talk. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Peacock, the streaming service owned by NBC Universal, my employers, hey, lost $1.7 billion in its
oof,
2021 season.
that's a lot of
Uh,
money.
yep, it's a
I
lot of money.
I
They
also read
did.
that they're gonna up spending on it as well this year.
They are. Yeah. So a little background is that, if you don't know, Peacock is a streaming service much that is trying to sort of catch up into the plethora of now many streaming servers that are out. To name a
Yeah,
few obvious ones: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
Paramount
One of the more
Plus,
recent ones, Paramount Plus, Apple
Apple
Plus.
TV. Yeah,
All these streaming giants, and so yeah, NBC was like, I want a piece of that pie, and it makes sense.
right.
I wouldn't
Absolutely.
fault them for that. Absolutely. The name, arguable. That was
I hate the
interesting
name.
choice.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think anybody loves the name, but yeah, it started in 2020. with its earnings for that year reaching about 663 million. So it's more than
Mm,
doubled for the 2021 season.
mm-hmm.
And just to put a little perspective, I'm not saying this news to say like, oh, this is like the end of Peacock. It's not. No one's actually saying that at all.
No, no, no.
But it is a good story to show the perspective of sort of where the streaming wars are right now and what it really takes to put up a
Mm-hmm.
streaming service. That it takes a lot of money. And so NBCU, I'm sure NBCU knew this. I'm sure the analyst was expected this loss. You know, it's a new company, it's a new service. They were not expecting to make money, and so they're to them this was not a surprise. I'm not trying
Right.
to put this out there as if this is like it's over. It's not. In fact, like you said, they pumped 1.5 billion dollars in original content alone when they started,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And again, to put into
A lot.
perspective, that's actually not as Apple, I'm sure, put in like more than that for their original content for Apple TV. I'm not 100% sure what that figure is. I'm not sure
True.
if we can find that, but I'm sure they poured something more as similar, or if not a little more, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
freaking, you know. So, but yes, so NBCU knows this, and they knew this far ahead that this year they've stated that yeah, we're gonna spend more, that
More.
same amount of money
Yeah.
to make original content again this in 2022 for I guess 2023 and so on and so forth. And they expect to lose like $5 billion in the
Yeah.
first 3 years. And so it's we're watching a fight of gods at this moment, right? Like we
Yeah.
can't really fathom it, but we just know whatever we see is insane.
Yeah.
But to them it's not as big, but it is interesting. I
Yeah.
what do you think about
I think it's super interesting.
the
I think
whole
the
thing?
streaming wars in general are super interesting right
Yeah,
now. You look
yeah,
at Netflix. Netflix, their valuation at the stock market, and I don't understand stock markets. I don't understand all that stuff all that well. But
me either.
they dropped $20 billion. Their valuation dropped in like 2 or 3 days last week. Um, so that in turn, what they because they lost subscribers, they didn't meet their subscriber goal. Which of course you're not going to meet your subscriber goal. First and foremost, your Netflix, you're now the most expensive streaming service at $20 a
Yes,
month.
$20.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
money.
Ooh,
And yeah, you have some.
ooh.
Obviously, you have a lot of great content, and you were the first to the market. But that just shows you they up their prices, and Netflix spends a lot of money on their films and a lot of money on their shows. And like,
Insane.
I can't tell you, yeah, I liked Red Notice, but am I going to admit it's a good film? Like, what's the last purely great made by Netflix? I'm not talking about Mitchell's and the Machines that they bought from Sony, which wasn't them at all. They just bought it to distribute it. Like, what's the like great Netflix film they've
Uh,
made? Even
it
their
was
series have
pre-pandemic.
yeah,
Yeah.
even their series have kind of fallen a little bit. Um, so and they spend a lot of money. So that sorry, not Paramount, Peacock sees that and they go, well, we got to do it. But the problem with Peacock is, what do you have? Like, sure, you have like the first 3 seasons of Yellowstone, but you don't have the new seasons because those are going straight to Paramount Plus.
Right.
Um, you're not Disney, so you don't have any big franchise, no Boba Fett, no Marvel
No.
series, no
Right.
Mandalorian, which
Right.
Mandalorian nobody gave a damn about, and now it's
Right.
probably Disney Plus's biggest show still.
And I just want to bring up again that Disney Plus spent $71 billion on that Fox acquisition,
Yeah,
which was which was a whole
part
part
of
of
it.
that
Yeah,
to get that catalog.
and
$71
Hulu.
billion. And
Yeah,
again, yeah. So NBC is not that. They're not gonna get
no,
that. Anyways, keep
right.
going.
So and like, but you don't have these franchises. Paramount Plus has, what's his name, the Tyler Sheridan uh universe is what they're calling it. So they have Mayor of Kingstown. And look,
Yeah.
the reason I know it is
Tom
because
Clancy.
you know people like my mom and my grandparents have Paramount Plus so they can watch 1883. They've found their demographic and they're going for it. They're
Right.
making a ton of shows and people want to watch those shows. They also have Star Trek Discovery. Paramount Plus also has the rights to UEFA's Champions League. So like, Peacock has the Premier League, which is soccer, but other than that, they don't have anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Some
Halloween
comedies, The
Kills, yeah,
Office. That's it.
sure, who cares? Like, but like,
Yeah.
there's no reason. You're not giving me a reason to pay for your subscription. Um, uh, yeah, I just don't. There's nothing I want to
Well,
watch. So like, Apple TV Plus has Ted Lasso, has shows that have really,
right.
really, taken off. You don't have it, and like, look, $5 billion to for people that don't know this, NBC Universal's um, parent company is Comcast. So it's a cable company. They have a ton of money, pretty much
Yeah.
infinite money. So they're going to keep
Comcast.
spending. But you can spend all the money you want. If you can't make content to get people in, it's not going to matter.
But but the move makes sense, right?
Yeah,
They are pumping this money
you have
into
to spend
original
it.
content.
Yeah,
So their move is right.
absolutely.
The whole thing in a nutshell makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so, but they do have an uphill battle in their original content. They don't really. Good point though on bringing up Yellowstone, which is apparently a great show. I haven't watched it, but everyone's
Me either.
talking about it.
People love it.
Everyone's talking about it. People
Everybody
absolutely go
loves it.
bonkers for that show.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that on my queue. I'm gonna watch it because it sounds great. But
Right.
so yeah, as long as they saw this, so they're like, okay, cool, more Yellowstone, more. They're gonna pump in a bunch into comedies, new
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so I think we can expect a lot of great stuff. This is to say all this to say that I think we can expect a lot of good stuff from Peacock in the coming years. So let's just see and
Yeah,
find
I
out.
feel like it's
You know,
probably going to take at least, I think they released Trolls 2 on it. Maybe Trolls. I don't know. I don't remember when it launched, but
I'm gonna
they
say three
released
years.
Yeah, they launched Halloween Kills on it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
gonna
that
need
was
to
a
do
great.
that. They're gonna need to do
Yeah,
more of that. And
they
obviously you can't do that with, Fast and Furious, and you can't do that with Jurassic
no
World,
no
Dominion. Um, but you have to find a way to do it. Like
yeah.
Paramount Plus, I think it's something like 30 days after the release of Paramount films, they will be on Paramount Plus. Like 30 days for a movie that you may or may not want to see, that's not long at all.
That's not
That's like
long.
blink, hey, you
Lincoln's gone.
yeah, blink and it's there, and it's hey, it's on Paramount Plus.
They're
Also,
there. Yeah.
you know, Netflix with raising the prices, I think we'll start to see people cancel. So if Peacock can get get it right, I think they'll be okay.
They
If
do.
they
They
can get
do.
it right.
They do have a jungle to go through though.
Oh yeah,
There's these other ones that are way in front of them.
yeah. And look,
So they have a bit of thing. They have some time to catch up, which is
Disney
good.
Plus is only
But they gotta.
$5.99. Shit, Amazon Prime, sure, it costs what, $140 a year per year
Yeah.
now, but like you also get Prime with it,
I mean,
and
Prime's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
The
and you
deal on
also
Prime
get
is
yeah, and you also get all these amazing shows, and now
yeah
they're putting movies up. So you got a long way to go, but you have the movie studio behind you to do it. You just again, I think you're gonna have to make a big decision, kind of like HBO Max,
yeah
and put big theatrical releases, not Trolls 2. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, kid stuff is very important, but like, you're gonna have to make a big movie and put it on, not like
yeah
a small horror film or anything like that, because that's gonna get some people. But a big time release, you're gonna have to
and
figure out a way to
something
say,
good.
yeah, you're gonna have to figure out a way to say, you know what, watch it at home,
Yeah,
and
it's
then I
true.
think you'll see subscribers shoot through the wall.
100%. Yeah. And
But
I think franchises are king too. So they need a big IP for themselves that they can come back to that most of these ones do. So again, like
I
Yellowstone,
mean,
uh,
but Yellowstone's not
they'll have
there.
to make more. It's not theirs. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So they're gonna have to really make something of their own. They're gonna have to make
Yeah,
something of their own,
you got
like
to find a
Yellowstone,
new something big.
that they can call theirs, and then
Yeah,
I think they'll be okay once they can reach that.
yeah.
So
Give me
all the luck
give
to
me
them. All luck to them. Plus, you're my employers, so
Fast and
please
Furious
make this
TV
work.
show. Yeah,
And small plug, RT channel on Peacock. If you don't know, I work for them, so go watch it. We've been working
yeah.
hard.
Go watch it. I have
Alex did.
shit on there
Alex
too.
did too.
Yeah,
He's not there
I used
anymore,
that.
but
I mean,
Alex did too.
yeah, I don't work there anymore, but go watch
So
it.
please go watch it. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
a fun channel.
If you want to buy a Dell computer, an Alienware computer, do that too.
Ooh, I might just do that myself. So
Yeah, get yourself
see.
an Alienware.
Plugs, baby. All right. Moving on.
Oh God.
20. Let me get clean audio here. 2022. What a year. Let's get into our 2022 look forward with our some of the stuff that we are excited for, things that
Yes,
perhaps
sir.
we are reserving our hype for, and then the
Yes.
things that we just probably may catch or may not. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Inconsequential viewing, I'd like to say.
Inconsequential viewing. I like that.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
On
So we'll get
Peacock
into
in
those.
2022.
Oh,
What a
way to
segue.
bring that way to bring that back. Yeah. All right. So let's just get into it.
Yeah,
I think we'll structure this similarly to what we did on the 2021 episode. We'll do like
sure.
a few of our picks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so let's start off with something positive. Let's start with what we're excited for. I'll kick it off with you, man. What's the stuff
You,
you're looking
you want me to
forward
go?
to?
I'm gonna go with two movies to kick it off because I know we're actually I'm gonna go with three films that I know we're probably both very very excited for. And I'm just gonna say them and then we can talk about them. Uh, Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. Give it to me. Thor: Love and Thunder. Also,
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that's on his list. And then lastly is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. And those are
Right
in no
on, brother.
particular order. Either any one of those can be my number one, any one of those can be my number three. Um, yeah, I mean, we've talked already in depth about Multiverse Madness, but just really quick on it, Ed, it's going to be bonkers. It's the next No Way Home. As we
Right
said,
on.
I think last week, it's going to break open infinite possibilities. And then I think you said this to me. You said, I think after they do Multiverse of Madness, we'll have a better idea of what the next Avengers film is going to be. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think that obviously it's going to be a huge film, and I can't say enough good about it. And then Thor, Love and Thunder. I think we're going to see a trailer or a tease
I
at the
think we should see
Super
the one
Bowl.
very soon. Very soon,
I
I
think we're
think.
going to see one at the
Yes.
Super Bowl. I think we're going to see. First of all, I think we're going to see lots of trailers at the Super Bowl. I think movie studios are going to re-up after No Way Home went for a
No Way
billion.
Home,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. I mean,
Everyone
like
was like, get it
it,
done. Get it done. No, no.
it
Remember
went
that thing you
for
were working on?
yeah,
Fucking get up.
it went
We're
for a
done. It's
billion
done now.
during the Omicron, like the highest point of Omicron. It went for a billion.
It's the fifth or sixth highest grossing movie of all
Yeah,
time
and it's still going.
during
Yeah,
pandemic.
yeah. So
That's
absolutely insane.
insane.
Yeah. So
Insane.
we're definitely gonna see this trailer. I don't know. I don't know
Imagine,
much about it.
imagine. It it would probably be right below Endgame, like
Yeah.
number 3, if
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't pandemic. Holy
Absolutely. Because
shit.
there's still. I bet you there's still
Woo!
some people that are like tentative to go out. Also, the movie hasn't even released in China,
It hasn't
which is
released.
very important.
When that movie releases on Disney Plus and on streaming, dude,
Oh
we're
yeah.
gonna see so much more money. It's gonna I think it's gonna reach like 4 or 5 in
Yeah.
placement at the
It's
end of
gonna
it all.
it's
I
gonna
really
be
do think so.
amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Anyways.
yeah, lots of trailers to the Super Bowl, and I think Thor: Love and Thunder. We don't know a ton about it. We know Natalie Portman's back. She will be Thor by the end of this movie. I don't think that's a. And when I say Thor, she's gonna wield Mjolnir. Yeah,
Yeah, Mjolnir. Yeah.
yeah.
I saw one little detail on the
Go ahead.
Wikipedia when I was looking it up. Apparently, Jane Foster is going to be diagnosed with cancer. I
Yes,
don't know if
she
you saw
becomes
that.
Thor
I didn't know
because
that.
in the comics she becomes
She
Thor
gets
because she's
cancer.
dying.
Oh, is that true? I
Yeah,
didn't even know that. So
and when
that I
she's
was like,
Thor, she's not sick.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Also, Christian Bale as Gore,
Oh,
the God Butcher. Taika
oh,
Waititi's back to direct. It's gonna be
yeah,
in.
baby.
I can't say.
The
Uh,
Guardians are going to be in it.
yeah, the Guardians will be there.
It's going to be a big movie, man. I
Ed,
think
have
it's
you
going to be
seen?
bigger than we think. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think these next. Well, I'm
Yes.
including
These
No
few.
Way Home in it, but these next 4 films, sorry, with No Way Home included, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and then Wakanda Forever, will set the stage for Avengers 5 and push the MCU forward
100%.
into phase. This is phase 4.
There's 4 right now.
So I don't know when they're actually ending phase 4, but I think this pushes
Yeah.
it forward into phase 5. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Kevin Feige said, "Guess what? That's phase 4
Yeah.
after Wakanda Forever."
It'd be interesting, and we talked a little bit about this before, and Alex mentioned it earlier, is that one of the interesting things about Phase 4 is that we don't know what the end of Phase 4 is. Typically,
No,
the bottle cap for the last 3 phases has been an Avengers film, and
exactly.
they haven't announced anything for
No,
the end of Phase 4. So it could and I think what we're waiting for is the event, the big inciting incident of the break in
multiverse.
the multiverse. Excuse me.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it's going to happen in Madness or in one of these films. Something
Yeah,
in one of these films, we're going to know
yeah,
what
it's
our next Thanos level thing is going to happen.
right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Feige just says, "Oh yeah, one of these movies that we already announced, that's actually the start of Phase 5 or something, or like that is going to be, the Avengers of this movie." I wouldn't be surprised. They
Yeah,
they kind of pulled that
yeah,
off in Civil War back
yeah,
then. Like people didn't really understand. Oh shit, this is like Avengers 2.5. This is like
yeah.
not what we were
We'll
expecting at all. This
we'll
is,
get one of
you
those
know,
films, which
yeah.
it could be. I mean, we could get 4 of those films. You could say No Way Home's is Avengers 3.5, or I
Oh
guess
yeah,
5.1.
5 point something. Yeah,
Yeah, 5.5.
surround
Anyway,
sound.
but yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder. That movie's gonna be bonkers.
Yep.
And then the last one that I know we have in common, Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. It the directors came out and said each different universe they go to will have its own art style.
Yes,
This was
sir.
already the
That was so
first
cool.
Spider-Verse movie was the most beautiful
Ah,
most
masterpiece.
beautiful animated movie you've ever seen. It was
Masterpiece.
I can watch that movie on repeat. I love
Love that
that
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Um so I'm very stoked for it. I know nothing about the storyline. I do know I hope Michael, I'm sorry, Peter B. Parker is back
Mm-hmm.
as well. I think he will be.
I think so.
Um, and then it's just going to take off. I've read that we'll have Spider-Man Japan, and then we'll also have Spider-Man India as well. So it's going to
Love
be a
it.
worldwide adventure, and I mean universe expanding adventure. I love it. It's going to
Takes
be
two
amazing.
parts.
Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
take 2 parts, and it's
Yeah.
gonna. Yeah, I can't
Big
say enough
stuff.
good about that film either.
Yeah.
You got
Super
anything to
excited.
say about it?
Besides, I mean, so I just want to mention that these three films that you've mentioned were literally my
One,
in the
two,
same
three.
order. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is
Knew
why
it.
we do the podcast together,
Yeah.
baby. Because
Yeah.
like,
I knew it.
this is exactly why we do this. Yes, 100% on all that. Across, yeah. Spider Verse, the first Spider Verse took me by surprise. Like I knew I was gonna like it. I didn't think I was gonna love it, and it was gonna be
Right.
one of the greatest animated films ever made. That's not
Right.
what I expected at all. And yeah, it's that. So I can't not be
Yeah.
excited for this.
I'm stoked.
It's just from that simple fact. I'm like, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We can expect pretty much the same and hope and maybe more. And I can't wait. And the prospects of like in conjunction with the
With
MCU now,
right.
what could we see? What
Right.
surprises
Absolutely.
are in store?
Absolutely.
I have an inkling that since they started this a little bit probably before like MCU
Yeah.
Phase 4-ish stuff, that
Hmm.
Part 1 is not going to have that in a big scale, but I think in Part 2 that's when they'll have sort of like the really big surprises where like, oh shit, this is like MCU
Uh,
coming in together now. I think
yeah.
that's
I'll
my
make a
guess, but
bold
we'll see.
prediction that
It's
maybe
hard to animate that
we
stuff.
hear Tom Holland's voice, or
Yeah, something
maybe
like
we hear
right.
Andrew Garfield's voice. I think there's a. I don't think it's even a bold thing to say. I think it's a pretty good prediction that we'll hear something from them
Yes,
in this one
I agree.
actually.
I
So
agree. And with
yeah
the inklings that there was something going around well after No Way Home came out about
mm,
either I think it was Andrew. No, it was probably Toby, where they said there was a possibility that he would come back in an animated version rather than in a live action
mm,
version. And I was like,
maybe
oh, well, then that could be these films could be a gateway into that show if they ever really if that's actually true, if those rumors are true.
yeah.
And
I
so
mean,
yeah,
I'm excited. That movie's
uh,
gonna be bonkers.
I agree. I agree. So
Uh,
what's your next?
so my next two,
Yes.
I'll stop. I'll number 5. I mean, we may disagree on it may be on your list of
What?
things you don't care about. But the other one I'm very excited to see on number 4 on my list is one I literally just found out about just a couple of when I was researching this episode. It's a movie called Beast. It's a movie with Idris Elba, and here's just the quick little synopsis: is a father and his 2 teenage daughter find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has but one apex predator. Look, I love myself a B movie. I love myself a creature feature.
Chills.
It Idris Elba chased protecting his 2 daughters against a giant lion. Give it all to
All of
me.
it.
Yes, I mean, that's it's
It
just gonna be
sounds kind of like what's that? Why am I blanking on the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and the bear?
Oh, The
The
Revenant.
Revenant. It sounds like The
Yes.
Revenant with
Yeah.
fucking Idris Elba, which I'm all for.
Yeah. I'm so for it. It's coming out in August of this year. I don't think a lot of people know about it. I hope people go see it. I hope if they don't think people go see it, I hope, HBO Max or somebody buys it and everyone can watch it at home because I guess that's a thing now. But I am so 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 excited for that film after reading about it. Like, Crawl. If you guys have seen the movie Crawl, it came out back in 2019.
Yes, with Kaya Scaldelario.
Yes, and Sam
Yes, dude,
Raimi
that
was a
movie was
producer of
so
it.
good.
Yeah,
That
Crawl.
movie is so underrated
They
if you
stay in
haven't
a
seen it.
hurricane and a bunch of crocodiles come in.
Brilliant.
Sorry, alligators. Oh, that movie's
Brilliant
so much
idea.
fun. Not a lot of people saw it. I hope it's getting more life on streaming. I don't really know, but
I
like,
think it
again,
is.
B movies have a place
They do.
and they
They do.
deserve to be on the big screen.
They do.
One or two good B movies a year. And like last year for us, it was The Tomorrow War. You know, that's a
Hmm.
that's a B movie kind of playing in A territory,
Exactly.
and it was so much fun. And obviously got a sequel, so I'm very excited for this movie called Beast with Idris Elba. And then my last one that I'm very very excited for, and this was up until last year, this was on my list of movies that I didn't care about, that I don't care when it ever
Oh.
came out. I mean, maybe it intrigued me, maybe not, but it is Avatar 2. I am very excited for this film, and I'll tell you why. Uh, Last
Told
year,
you it was gonna come up.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Last year, I went to Disney World after being, locked inside for a year. We needed to do something, so we went to Disney World, and then at this place at Animal Kingdom, they have a land called Pandora, Land of Pandora, or World of Pandora. I don't know what that land is called. I don't know, but the land was so cool, and there's this ride there called Flight of Passage. The ride, I won't ruin the ride for anything, but in the ride you see some new creatures, and you
Oh.
see some new things that you're like, wait a minute, this sounds like what James Cameron's kind of talking about, what he wants to do with the movie, and I'm just like, oh, damn. And then I left that land and I was like, damn, I forgot how much I really enjoyed Avatar. And I
Mhm.
looked it up and I saw that, oh, it's coming out next year. And I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what he does. It's supposed to be underwater. I mean, like, stars of the film have come out and had interviews saying they had to learn how to hold their breath for 5 minutes at a time, which is insane. Like, James Cameron's a crazy person. Um, uh, yeah, I'm just excited for the film. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything about the movie. I'm just excited for it. I don't have a good defense. I think it
I
might be
feel you, man. I
yeah.
can feel
So
it. I can feel it exuding from you.
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the number one grossing film of the year next year
uh,
or this year. Sorry.
so okay, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna segue into my excitement. My
Okay,
things
you
that I'm
do that.
excited
Yeah.
for, because you pretty much hit everything that I was excited for,
Oh shit.
including Avatar 2, which is my fifth one. I was gonna surprise you because I didn't think you were
I
gonna
didn't
pick
think you'd
it.
be excited about it.
And no, I have the same sort of trajectory with how I was feeling about the film.
Right.
We talked about this film before too. I feel we just had this like resentment to it a little bit. We were like,
Yeah, because it's been what,
it's
15
just been too
years?
long. It's been
Yeah.
too long. We're so antsy for it. We want it so bad, and
Avatar
we've
was what,
had this
2008?
2009, man. Yeah,
Oh,
2009. So way overdue. It's
yeah.
been, and Avatar 2 and its sequels have been talked about since 2010, since
Yeah.
the movie made its money. And it's like,
Right.
where is this thing? God damn it! Like, James, what
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of our trepidation about it has been building this excitement for it, where we're not being paid off, right?
Right.
We're getting blue balls, and that's why
Right.
we're freaking angry. But I took a second to think about it, and I was like, you know what? Fuck, man, this movie's gonna be fucking amazing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
James. I started remembering what this movie was, and like, it's James Cameron. That's all you need, really, too.
Right. Well,
Like, one of the
one, that's
greatest
all you
filmmakers
need.
of all time.
Two,
Um,
the dude like went to the bottom of the damn ocean to
yeah, this
reshoot
guy
this
is
film.
like, yeah, they're creating science for this film.
Yeah.
Like, and just to give a little backstory about, let's catch everybody up, because I feel like it has fallen off the radar a little bit for people. So
Okay.
Avatar 2 and its sequels, I don't know if anybody knows this. Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 have been greenlit, and they are in current production. Just
Yeah.
to give you an idea about where it's at. One of the producers has mentioned that a third of Avatar 4 has already been shot. A third of Avatar 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Wow.
That's where we're at. So this is where they were.
Yeah.
And by 2017, um, James or 2018, end of 2018 is when first principal photography started on motion capture. So this is a really interesting part of Avatar 2 and how they're all these sequels, Avatar sequels that they're taking is
Mhm.
that Jim is shooting all the performance capture stuff together first.
Right.
And I'm not sure if they did this for Avatar 1, they probably did,
Yeah.
but and then all the live action stuff later. But what's interesting about the performance capture part for these sequels is that he stated that a lot of the films are going to be underwater. So I mean, so much so that they had to that's what's taking so long is that they had to figure out how to capture performance literally underwater.
Underwater.
And it took a year and a half just for them to figure out how to do it. I'm not going to get into the technical stuff. I read up all on it, but I'm not going to
James
bore anybody
Cameron's a
with it.
madman.
But he's a
Like,
madman. He's
he's
a
a madman.
madman, and
Yeah.
everybody on that team is a madman. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
like
yeah.
hurt. They're like Hurt Locker level people, where it's just like, yeah, you're a madman.
Yeah.
They're
You're
they're, they're,
crazy.
they're
Yeah.
walking into the fucking into the minefield of like, I don't know if this is ever gonna go. And in their words, they did it. They've
Mhm.
locked it down. They figured it out. And so
Right.
all these years they've been spending filming people underwater. And what we're gonna see is a merge of like real performance capture in water and some not, but most of it should be.
Yeah.
Most of it
It's
should be in real underwater, which is like if that doesn't blow your mind, if you're not understanding that,
yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be pretty special, I think, because
Like
it's never been done before in the history of cinema, I think, as far as I'm
if you
concerned.
have a good TV like an OLED or something,
Yes.
and Disney plus a good internet connection, that's important. Um, go rewatch the first Avatar on Disney Plus. It is bonkers how good it looks. Like that movie's 2009, and there's movies that'll come out this year that won't look half as good as that.
No, I don't
Like
believe so.
like that's when expensive movies looked expensive, and like maybe we have a little
I
bit
hear
of
you.
that, but we
Yeah,
don't like some of these expensive movies don't look good. This everything about that movie was amazing, and like
I agree.
yeah, sure, like. I hear the complaints. I hear the complaints. Oh, it's the story of Pocahontas. Shut up. Okay, like yeah, that's fine. You're missing the point. Get out of my face with the story of Pocahontas. I get it. It is that, but I'm not. It's a technical achievement that you've never seen in your life. Stop laughing.
That impression was just amazing. I'm
That's
sorry.
all you hear. That's all I hear every time I say I like Avatar. Oh, the story of Pocahontas,
It's
bro.
so true. I got that too. I get
Yeah,
that every time. I get that every
yeah.
time when someone mentions like, "Oh yeah, Avatar wasn't as good as we remember it." I'm like,
No,
you're not understanding.
you need to put your
w-
headset, like your
Yeah,
head in the right mindset for it. You
yeah.
know
The story isn't. We know this. We know this. But
exactly.
technological advancement and the fidelity, the
Yeah.
visual fidelity of that
Oh,
movie in itself, nothing
brilliant.
like we'd ever seen before. And
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to like how much films have evolved since that point, where people just have gotten used to it. They just
Complacent.
gotten yeah, they just
Yeah.
got complacent with like we're being spoiled at
Yeah.
that by like once the MCU started, the MCU is spoiling us because
Oh
they
yeah.
do look really good.
Yeah.
They granted they do look extremely good.
Not you, Black
But
Panther. End of Black
not you,
Panther.
Black Panther. Yeah. But sorry.
That was
But
bad.
yeah, we're being spoiled, and people forget that, like, dude, yeah, no, that movie is a hallmark
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for movies, and so and people are forgetting that was Jim Cameron's last movie.
Yeah. He hasn't done
The
any of those.
sequel, it's been
He's done like
9, 10, 11.
documentaries.
It's been 13 years
Yeah. I
since
wasn't off
James
when I said
Cameron
15 years.
put a movie out.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Dude.
So this thing is, I don't think he would have done that if he didn't believe in
Yeah.
everything that they were doing.
I agree. I
So
agree.
that
I'm
being
very
said,
excited.
it could be a monumental failure
Yeah.
as well.
I I,
Hopefully not.
I want to make a bold prediction and say we'll
Uh,
see the first look at it at the Super Bowl.
yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
we'll get like a 30
At the
second
Super
teaser.
Bowl this year?
I think so. Yeah.
You know what?
I wouldn't be like start hyping people now.
I think you have to start reminding people
Like this
about
movie is
what
yeah.
Avatar was,
Right.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
they haven't talked about. Yeah, you have that. You have the ride, which I'm
You
sure
know,
is amazing. I haven't been on that ride, but
oh, that
I'm sure
ride
it's
is
awesome.
one of the most
Yeah, I'm
amazing
sure it
rides I've
is.
ever been on. But he did it. James Cameron
Yeah.
did the ride, and he
Yeah.
did the visuals on the ride. And I don't want to ruin anything, but when you when you go on it, you'll see that like your excitement would also be like, damn,
Yeah. And I-
damn,
and I,
this could be good.
and you know what? I bet money. I bet money they're gonna re-release that movie again. They're gonna
In
re-release
theaters.
that movie again in theaters in a couple
Hmm.
of, I don't know, by halfway through the year, because this
Yeah,
movie is coming out slated for December 22nd. I think it's like
yeah,
Christmasish
yeah. It's
time. So I think he's gonna re-release the movie out with like the
yeah,
trailer at the end of it or something like that.
yeah.
Because you gotta remind people why this was
I
good.
agree. I
And no
agree.
way, this is the perfect time. Like there's no way. All the movies coming out now owe
Yeah.
it to No Way Home. I'm sorry, but they do.
Oh yeah.
The
No Way Home.
success that any
Everyone.
movie
Yeah.
has is
Yeah.
gonna owe it to No Way Home.
Yeah. I think
Because now people,
everyone thought, or
yeah,
well, the Fast Nine crew thought it would be them to reopen. Sorry guys, it was actually
and No
Toby,
Time to
Tom, and
Die. Yeah,
Andrew. Yeah,
we had all these champions who thought they were,
but it was
I'll
Peter
do it.
effing Parker. Pizza
Yeah,
time. Anyway,
yeah.
um,
Anyways,
what's your
Avatar
number
two.
five?
Avatar
So
two. That
you
was
need
my number five. That was technically my
so
number five.
what's your four then?
So my four.
Mhm.
Where does it go? Oh, yeah, technically it's my number three on my list, but it's Top Gun Maverick. Super excited for that actually,
Mm,
because Fallout is one of my favorite action movies of all time now, and I
right.
just when you see Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise, you get excited, and I'm super
Yeah,
excited to see him fly planes and just
I agree.
there's no other actor pushing it like him. There just isn't.
No. Yeah.
There's no other actor pushing it like him, and he's a marvel. And I need to witness that. And I think I don't know if I'll love this film necessarily. Like Top Gun, I like a lot. It's not one of my, it's not, but it's not held up in my pantheon of films like other
I don't
people
think so
do.
either.
But I like it. I like it a lot. And yeah, this looks fucking bonkers. And I just want to
Yeah.
see him.
The,
I can only hope that the story's good, because I think the visuals look great, and him, the
yeah.
practicality of these stunts are going to be awesome.
I'm not
So
sure who directed it, but that's kind of the thing with Top Gun films, right? For film nerds, it doesn't really matter who directs it
no,
because Tom's in charge of the stunts. When he has that really funny joke where he said no, his stunt coordinator said you can't do this, so he fired the stunt coordinator and got a new one. Like
yeah,
so like it's gonna look really good, and I agree. I do think I think this is actually a really good segue into the next segment because for me, I am excited to see Top Gun, and I think they need to release something like a new trailer or something soon, because I've started to it's kind of dropped into those movies I've forgotten about and kind of don't care
yeah,
about
a
because
little
they
bit, yeah,
have
that's true.
delayed it so much.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was supposed to be 2020, and then obviously 2020, took a shit on the world, and then
That is something I think you can count on seeing in Super Bowl. Top Gun.
yeah, I would agree.
That makes absolute American sense.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
Absolutely agree. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
got to be some new scenes. But I think this is a good segue into the next segment. Things we're
Go
not
for it.
really really care about. But yeah, to finish on Top Gun Maverick, I am excited for it, and it's not in that list of things I couldn't care less or could care less about. Couldn't
Mhm.
care less about. I don't know what the saying
Could
is.
could care less.
Could couldn't care
I'm
less.
still confused. I'm still confused by that saying. I think it makes sense to say
Mm,
could care less,
yeah, because
because
the
like
fact you're
you
talking
could
about it
care less.
means I care just a little bit.
Right, but I hear people say couldn't care less. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways,
Yeah, it's weird, right?
semantics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's a
right.
weird
You're right.
phrase.
Semantics. Semantics.
Anyways,
Um. So yeah, I think that it could be in that pantheon of could care less. But like I was saying, the last thing to say is I know a review is going to be Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise things.
of course,
That's going to be one of the selling points of the movie, and that should be
that
enough
is
for people to go see
100%,
it.
100%. Yeah.
All right.
Um.
So some of the
Before
films. Oh,
or go ahead, keep going, keep going,
no, you go.
keep going.
Go.
No,
Go.
I was gonna say, just before we move on,
Mhm.
if anyone's freaking out, we understand. We're not gonna go into them, but some of the bigger films that are coming out that I think people should be excited for are the Batman. Obviously, it's coming out next in a couple months,
And like
next
a
month.
month
The
basically.
Batman. I'm sure people are like, why didn't you like mention that? Well, we'll talk about that later. The
Yeah.
Northman, Robert Eggers' new film. If you're a
That
big
looks
fan of
insane. Wow.
Lighthouse and everything he's done before that, it should
Oh,
be
I
pretty damn good.
love the
I know.
lighthouse.
Yeah, yeah. So it should be pretty cool. Knives Out
Yep.
2, I'm sure we'll have a big cult. It's not
Yeah.
a cult. No, people love that movie. People love it.
Yeah.
That's coming out this year too. The Mario movie, which is still not titled,
I was gonna
I'm sure
mention
is
that
going to be pretty big.
in our
You know,
the last segment, but
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, okay. No, we can still mention it. We can still mention it. And yeah, that's it. Those are all my like. I'm excited for those. They didn't meet my list, but I am excited for those.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our
Okay.
reserving hype section.
Yeah, like
Reserved hype.
reserving hype till we see it.
Yeah.
The very first one for me is one I know that's not going to be on Ed's list. Um and that's actually the Flash film. Um I think I'm reserving hype for it. Ed's it's probably on Ed's I'm going to completely miss it list. And look, I'm not a huge fan of Ezra Miller. I never really liked the casting. But they decided to stick with him. I think it's a gamble. Um
Oh,
I'm reserving hype for that film because it is very big and it is going to like look, you got Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, you got Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, you have a new Supergirl, that's her name. And then you'll have multiple Flashes in it. And then I do believe Grant Gustin, who plays the Flash on the CW show, will also be in it. So I'm reserving hype on it.
oh,
Yeah, I think
No Way Home-ish type of event we're
oh yeah,
having here.
you're having a very No Way Home type event. And I said on our last episode, I love multiversal things. I think it's really fun to jump into
Obviously.
yeah, it's really fun to jump into like parallel Earths that exist and have different characters, and that's a fun thing to pretend. Um, so yeah, I wasn't. I thought the very first It was good, and then It Chapter 2 wasn't good, and it's the same
I agree.
director, Andy Muschietti.
Machete. Yeah, Machete. Muschietti. I
Muschietti.
forget. Yeah,
Um,
I forget how to pronounce it, but yeah, Andy
so
Muschietti.
I
Totally
am
agree with you on that.
reserving a lot of quite a bit of it's. It could be a very big miss. It is probably one of the last DCEU films that'll have the original characters they set out to do. And I think
Agreed.
it'll erase everything before it in a way. And we'll see a new Batman. Maybe we'll see um Robert Pattinson the Batman in it at the very end because he resets the universe. Um, but yeah, I'm reserving hype. It does seem that it could be too big, and I want it. I think I'm reserving hype because I want it to be so good because I really like the Flash. I think he's one of the coolest characters. Um, it's like I've said before in the DC animated movies that they put out, he's always stealing the show. He's so fun to watch, and yeah, I'm a little worried about it. What about you?
You'd be right that it is in my
Don't
uh,
care.
what did I say? Inconsequential viewing.
Inconsequential.
I don't care if it's
Yeah,
good. I'm glad. I'll
yeah,
probably catch it. I mean, ultimately, I will probably catch it just because it's a superhero film and I want to be part of that
absolutely.
conversation. But yeah, it's really not something I'm whatever.
You
I
care
don't
too
know.
much about?
Yeah,
All right.
I think Ezra's great as the Flash. I don't, but I also don't know if anybody could do it better too. Like I'm sure there
Mhm.
are. I'm sure there's better
Okay.
casting.
Mhm.
I don't hate him.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the whole who's sorry, am I forgetting his name? The original Batman,
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. I didn't grow up with that Batman. I
Neither
love
did
those
I.
films though. I think they're really great,
Right.
but he's not my Batman. So I'm excited to see him, but I'm also like he's yeah.
Neither here or there.
Bale would have been cool because I love Bale. He's my Batman.
He ain't coming back.
But that's not gonna happen.
No.
So whatever. I don't know too much to say. Again, I'll reserve my thing until I really know more about it. I don't want to bash on it.
All
But
right. You want to go
it's
one
not
by
something
one?
I'm.
You want to give me one now?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. In that vein, then, if we're on the DCEU, I'm reserving hype on Aquaman, and the Lost Kingdom.
That was in my inconsequential list.
Well, then there we go. We can
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
we'll zipper
yeah.
that viewing
Oh
there.
man. Oh damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
Aquaman. I it's only here just because I, I mean I also probably would put it in my inconsequential viewing, but
Did you
at the same
like the
time
first one?
I didn't like it at
Neither did
all.
I. Right.
And I but there I don't know, like I don't I have I think it's still one of the better DCEU films. I didn't like
Okay.
think it was the most shit, but it wasn't great either. But I guess I have a little bit of faith for that franchise just because I do like Momoa in the role. I think it was a
Yeah.
bold choice, and I think it pays off. I think because I can't because a little bit of me is like I can't really see anybody else as Aquaman at the moment. Like I thought that was a good choice, and I'm
Okay.
so I just hope they get the story right. I still love his brother too. I love what's his name from the
Patrick
Conjuring
Adams.
films. Patrick
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 Williams.
Adams. Who the
Patrick.
hell's that?
I don't
No,
know.
you got it.
Patrick
Patrick
Wilson. Wilson
Wilson,
Patrick.
who I always loved. He's actually a really great actor.
Patrick Wilson.
And
Yeah.
he's never gonna take like a form, but when he's
No.
in a movie, I think he's always in top. I think he's a great actor, and I love
Yeah.
him in the role there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't love James Wan, and he's coming back. There's just I have a little bit of hope somewhere for this. I don't know why. Just
Wow.
because I think it's because there's so many other DCU films that I hated way more.
Yeah.
I want it to win, and I don't know. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't have that much faith in it. But I still want to watch it. I find
Yeah.
myself wanting to watch it. I don't know what else to say. But
So
anyways,
like I think
Aquaman
for
and Lost in.
me, it's it's in the inconsequential list because I think I'm gonna go in with pretty much zero expectations. Like
Sure,
the
sure,
Flash, I'll go in with a somewhat negative but kind of positive, like hoping it be good, and I'm won't be surprised if it lets me down. But Aquaman is inconsequential to me because like the first one, I didn't like it, but I won't say it's a bad movie. You know,
sure.
there's some laugh out loud moments. I remember I saw it
Yeah.
at a screener with our old boss, or well, your boss currently, my old boss, and we started dying of laughter because at one point Aquaman walks out of the ocean and Pitbull's playing in the back, and I was just like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. This is so hilarious." Um, but like
Oh my god,
it to bring it into the podcast, it's a movie that knows what it is, and James Wan knows what he wanted to do with it.
it
And
does.
there were moments of Aquaman where I was like, that was filmed and framed and shot and colored beautifully.
I 100% agree with you. In my original review, I even said it has one of the greater shots in the DCU I even cared about because
Yeah.
it was so great. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
There,
It
yeah,
has those
there's
moments where
some.
you're just like, damn, that's really
Oh, damn,
actually
that's
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, but I don't have any expectations for it. Like Ed, I will go watch it. Um, and if I'm pleasantly surprised, then great. If not, then I know what I'm getting into.
correct.
So
Yeah,
that's why it kind of
exactly.
lands on my inconsequential list.
I agree. It's on the precipice for me, but there's just like that
Yeah.
little thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Um.
yeah. Keep. How about you on
Oh,
your
so
next on your reserving hype?
on my on my reserving hype list, this might be on both of ours list, or it might actually be on your inconsequential list. I'm reserving hype for Jurassic World Dominion.
Hmm,
Um, they
it's on
have
my list.
released that 5-minute prologue, which sure it looks cool. It doesn't show anything.
Not
Um,
really.
and Fallen Kingdom was really bad. It started out Fallen Kingdom. I hold to this day has one of the best opening scenes I've ever seen.
It's the only thing I can give it props for. The
That
opening
was
scene got me so hyped, and then it
yeah.
just fell from there.
Go
But the
rewatch
opening scene,
that in
so
4K.
good.
Oh, it's great. And then
I'm with you.
it's like it started up here and then boom, and then it never found the way back up.
I
Um,
100% agree with you. That opening scene is awesome.
awesome.
So awesome.
So cool.
I wish they just continued with that, and
Oh,
it
I don't
just
know what
doesn't.
they did. Why did they?
I don't
Yeah,
know
they
what
really
happened.
screwed it up. But anyway,
Yeah.
Colin Trevorrow is back for it. This one, which he did the first Jurassic World, which was fine. But yeah, I'm reserving hype for it because the original cast is back: Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. And it's they promised Jeff Goldblum back in Fallen Kingdom,
Not
and he
in
was
it.
there for like what, 2 freaking
2
minutes.
second. Yeah.
Yeah, get out of my face. He never came
Nothing.
back. No,
Yeah.
he literally shot that in one day. So they've released that little 5-minute prologue. It looks interesting. Uh, it's not as my biggest problem with some of these movies is they've relied too heavily on CGI, and like a movie made in
That's true.
1993 shouldn't have monsters that look more real than a movie made in
Ones now.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's where I land on that, and I think that I'm reserving hype because I want it to be good. I want it to. If this is going to be the final Jurassic Park we see, which it is for a while, right?
It
I
won't be, but it
assume
is for a while. Yeah, for a
it's
bit.
not for a while, right?
Yeah, for a while.
I really like Chris Pratt. I really like Bryce Dallas Howard. I really hope Bryce Dallas Howard directs the next Star Wars trilogy.
There's a discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's way better than anybody they've picked so far. Um, but and we'll talk about Boba Fett and things like that in a while. But um, yeah, I like them and I love the original cast. And yeah, I really really want it to be good. I don't know what the story is. I've seen some behind the scenes stills, and Chris Pratt's on a horse with a raptor running next to him. Like that's just cool. I don't care who you are. That's fucking cool, dude. That's so cool. Chris Pratt on a horse with Blue the raptor running next to him. I have a dog named Blue. I want it to be good for so many reasons. I just want it to be
Yeah.
good. I really hope it's good, but I have a bad feeling it's going to be really bad.
I hear you.
Go ahead. I
Yeah,
just
it was second on my reserving hype.
mm,
I feel the exact same way for the most part. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. I definitely err on the side of that. It will probably be not. It will. We're expecting to see more or less of Jurassic World because it is Colin Trevorrow coming back, or
right.
yeah, Trevorrow.
Trevor, yeah.
So I'm expecting the same. The only thing that lifts me up is the fact that we're going to see the original cast. If it's and I've heard that they're in it pretty good, so it's
Yeah,
not just some
yeah.
sort of nostalgia cameo.
Sam
And
Wilson,
so
Sam Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill has said that they're in it. Like they're in it,
Once
they're
they're in
in
it,
it.
they're in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that too. So I like that. I'm actually I like that because I didn't hate Jurassic Park 3. I didn't hate that movie. I actually found it very watchable, and
Yeah.
I love Sam in that too. I think he is definitely one of the greater parts of the franchise, and that whole trio I think is great. And so I can't wait. Like that, if they can nail that part, if they can give those characters build
Mhm.
on what they've had, and the performances are great, which I'm sure they are. They're veteran
Yeah.
actors. Like you're
Yeah.
not, they're going to be great, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of callbacks to the original. I bet money.
Yeah.
Bet money now we're going to see some callback to Jeff Goldblum's shirt being open.
Yeah.
Bet money on
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna
So
absolutely.
that's the one part that everything else I really don't care for. Like I do like Chris Pratt, I do like Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't think their characters mean any goddamn thing to
Yeah, they
to the
haven't built
franchise
any character
at all.
arc for them at all. No,
There's no characters I give a fuck
I
about.
like Chris Pratt the actor, and
Uh
not so much the
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
even name his goddamn
What his
character
name?
name.
I don't know his name. Fucking what's his name? Oh god, I don't know. I forget. Whatever. But yeah, that's what I'm excited for. And so
Yeah,
I hope they nail that. If they don't, then it will be just like I watched Jurassic World again, and then whatever. So
yeah.
I I've
Hopefully
seen
it's the best thing I can hope for, or the absolute
no, no, no.
least I think we can hope for is it's more Jurassic World than Fallen Kingdom.
Correct,
That's the
correct,
absolute least I think we can hope for.
right. Agreed.
Fingers crossed. But that's my second one. Back
May I
over
take it?
to you for a
All right.
what's on your
This is going
reserving
to
list.
surprise a lot of people, but I don't think it will surprise you because
Okay.
this one was not on your excited list. I think also,
Okay.
which is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Oh boy. Reserving
Yep,
hype,
yep,
huh?
yeah. I'm reserving my hype on that one. I am.
Okay.
I am.
That,
I think a lot of people expected us to have that and are excited, but I'm
that's
sorry.
like right outside my top 5, which I think is it's the reason it's you go
Oh,
first.
so it is in your excited though, and like it was
Um
part of your excited list,
no,
just
sorry.
not in the five.
It's in my reserve hype as
Oh, it
well,
is
but
too. Oh,
outside
okay,
of the top
okay.
5. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Of the reserved hype.
I'm reserved about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, again, we don't know too much about it yet, so I'm not here to bank on it. But I'm a little worried just because of everything we've heard. It's had some production woes,
Yeah.
both COVID
Injuries, yeah.
related, injury related. Um, Obviously we've lost the king. He's not going to be in it. So the whole thing is like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And they do have a big hill to go up, and it's one of those things where I haven't heard little pieces where I go, "Oh man, yes, Like that's where I need it to go. That's what I was expecting. That's what I want. Not that they have to. I'm just
Yeah,
that they've been a little quiet about it, and
been
so
very quiet. Yeah,
it's coming out this year though, and you expect that we would hear something more.
yeah,
But we don't. We hear a lot. So that's what that's basically it. And I
yeah.
obviously for both of us too, we didn't like love Black Panther. It's definitely
No,
not
yeah,
something we
no.
hated, but it's
Right.
definitely
Yeah,
something we were both slightly disappointed with. We are not on
yeah,
that like train
yeah.
that it's like one of the best Marvel films of all
MCU. Yeah,
time.
yeah,
But I did like it a lot. There's parts most of it I did like a lot. There's some parts that I didn't though, and I was
yeah,
disappointed. And you're the same thing with you. So
yeah,
that's it. It's just that. And the more that we hear about it, I think the more we will be quelled of our our reservation on it.
yeah.
But for now, early 2022, I haven't heard much from it yet. So it's in my
Yeah.
reserve hype. That's where it goes for me. And then so
I,
for you,
I agree. It's in the reserve list as well. And yeah, the thing with Black Panther for me is it felt to me like they sidelined T'Challa,
yeah,
um,
I
which
agree with that.
now even kind of hurts more because he's
Yes.
actually gone. Um, and yeah, so I agree with Ed that we haven't seen anything. I could be I think we're gonna see Namor, the submariner, in it. Um,
Mm, mm, mm.
I think he will be introduced. I think that'll be the big bad they're fighting when he's not actually bad. He's just, you know, there. Um, but it's like oh, he's a fake bad, but he's actually gonna work with
I don't know
the
anything about him, so
the Wakandas at the end. But he's the king of Atlantis, and it's just he's basically the Aquaman of
right,
Marvel.
the
Anyway,
MCU.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I agree. Like we haven't seen a lot. It's had a lot of production woes. I'm sure it's gone through several rewrites because when they
Mm,
announced it,
mhm,
way back in like D23 of 2019, they uh they were very hyped about it. They knew who the villain was gonna be. It was gonna start production, and then of course, bad stuff happened. COVID
mhm.
happened, and then unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed. Um, so yeah, it falls into the reserved hype list. And yeah, I'm like you. I could be persuaded, but I am worried.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I want it to win. I want it. It's
yeah,
one of the things on my reserved list. I'm like really want it to be
yeah.
good because
Ryan
yeah,
Coogler
one of the
knows what he's
great.
doing.
Yeah,
Kevin Feige
right.
knows what he's doing. So like,
Yeah,
it's probably going to be good, but you're automatically going to be compared to
yeah. To
Chadwick
to
Boseman and what you're
to
losing,
Chadwick Boseman,
what you've
and
lost.
it's one of the whole thing is tragic to me. Like not just his loss, but again for at least for me, for us that I don't know your point of view is T'Challa. I mean, he could have totally been like the next leader of the Avengers. He could have totally
Mm,
been like the front runner of
yeah,
this of phase 4 and 5 and beyond. But I feel like since we in Black Panther, you're right, he was overshadowed and just not, I think, utilized that
no,
well.
that's why I didn't like the film.
That
Yeah,
was disappointing. Yeah, that was super disappointing. Just because in
yeah.
Civil War, he was one of the best fucking parts of that. He was so
He
cool. He was
Infinity
so good.
He commanded
Wow.
the screen. He just took
Commanded.
like
Every scene he's in.
every
Every
scene
scene
was
he's in.
his scene.
Woo.
In Black Panther,
Yeah.
they sidelined him to tell Killmonger's story, which yeah, sure,
Right.
Killmonger's story is cool and all, but like
But it is a Black Panther film. It is, and it
yeah,
was
it
his
should have
first
been
one. And
more like
yeah.
it was 70-30 in my opinion toward
Hmm.
Killmonger and his
Yeah.
storyline when it should have been 50-50. I'm not saying
Yeah.
Killmonger's story is not important. I'm not saying
Right.
Killmonger
Right. Right.
wasn't a good villain, but it should have been more 50-50 and it felt 70-30 to me, you know.
I agree with you.
So
I totally agree. I totally
but yeah,
agree with you. And it's the
that's on my
greatest tragedy of
reserve
that
list as
movie.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I they had yeah, and that's all to say that I think Ryan Coogler told the story he wanted to tell, and obviously he told it successfully.
Yeah.
But as
I
for people
agree. Yeah.
who were looking to see Black Panther really come into his own more, since
Hmm.
in his first movie, yeah, it was a little disappointing. And so the whole thing just it sucks. But so I really do. I really hope that this movie succeeds in telling a good story, and I think it will. I think it will for
Yeah.
sure. I think the team behind it is aces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Couldn't
I
have picked
have
anyone
all high
better.
hopes for it, 100%, 100%. Anyways, next on your reserve type.
On my reserve type, I know this actually isn't going to be on your list, but
Mm,
I'm reserving hype because I want this movie to be absolutely fantastic because it looks absolutely great. It's from Scott Derrickson. It's a movie called The Black Phone. It's a brand new film coming out later this year. I think it comes out in June. And just, I mean, really, really quick on it, just to give a kind of short, really short premise.
Go for it.
So it takes place in a small town. I'm not sure where, but the small town's plagued by a serial killer where 5 or 6 kids have gone missing. And he takes his next kid, and the kid wakes up and he's chained to a room, and there's a disconnected black phone in the room. And all of a sudden the phone starts ringing, and it's the dead kids, his previous victims, who are trying to help him escape. So they start putting together a plan. And Ethan Hawke plays the serial killer, and it looks fantastic. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it looks
I have.
so good to me. This is like a smart, cool horror film that I want to see. But what do you think?
No, I have seen the trailer. I kicked myself in the head. I totally forgot about that though because
Oh,
it has come out. I was
it's
wondering if that
agreed.
was
It's
a
at 100%,
2021. Yeah, it has
but
come out if I
it hasn't
understand, but
been
like
released to
not
the
worldwide.
public.
Yeah, not theatrically,
No, no,
traditionally
no.
theatrically yet. So
Yeah,
okay, so it is. Yeah, I just saw now that it is coming out in 2022, which I didn't know.
right.
On June, it's being released by Universal. Yeah. First, the premise, awesome.
Yeah, that sounds so
Premise
cool.
in of itself is so cool. I
Yeah,
love that. Sounds very inventive. And
yeah,
the people behind it, Scott Derrickson did the
yeah.
first Doctor Strange. I think
Yes.
he's full and Sinister, right? That's what
Yeah,
he's like really famous
Sinister.
for.
Yeah, he's a horror
So
director. Yeah.
you got some aces behind the camera there, and yeah, Ethan Hawke I think Ethan Hawke has had his own
Career.
reconnaissance,
Yeah,
if you would allow me to
yes.
say, a bit.
Reconnaissance. I love
Not to the
that.
same, not to the same level as some of the
Yeah,
Keanu Sans, but he
yeah.
really has, and
Moon
he's
Knight,
great, and
this movie.
everything he's picking, yeah,
Yep.
everything he's picking lately has been really really solid. So
Yeah.
but it's also I just realized it's made with a budget of $18 million.
But you have
Holy
to understand,
shit!
for horror,
Wow.
that's a big budget.
Exactly.
For
That's what
horror,
I was
that's a
my point.
huge budget. Yeah, that's
My
what we're trying
point
to
was
say.
that it
Yeah.
was gonna be big,
Yeah.
actually for this level. So they're clearly putting money behind it, and
Yeah. Blumhouse gave them some money, and look, Blumhouse is the kings of
yeah,
horror, or the kings of horror. Unless you're like Robert Eggers and A24,
yeah,
they're the kings of indie
right.
horror or
Indie horror,
psychological
yeah,
horror. But yeah,
offbeat horror, kind
I'm
of in a weird
very
way.
very uh excited because I want it to be good, but I put it on my reserve list because I just don't know. Because horror, you're
Yeah,
50-50,
yeah.
right?
It's a
It's
really
kind
hit
of
or
like
miss.
comedy. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
really is. It really.
Like you,
I'm fully on board with you. I hit myself
but
not having it on that list, but that's a great
that
pull. Wow,
that
yeah,
movie
great
looks
pull,
fantastic. What about you?
great
What's your
pull.
next? What you got?
My next one is which one I want to say. I mean, we've talked about this already, so but really is one of my reserved type, and it's Uncharted.
I was gonna say that
Uncharted
as my
is
last one.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, let's talk about it. So yeah, Uncharted. We've talked about this extensively before, but yeah, it's I'm erring on the side on it's going to be absolute shit. I just want to
Yeah,
be very clear. I think it's going to be
yeah, yeah.
absolute poop. So I hope it completely does not become poop
Uh,
because everything about it is just completely off. But I'm also excited that we have Uncharted as a movie too in a weird way, but it's not
yeah,
in the platter I was hoping it to be. It's not in the chest of treasure that I was hoping to find it in.
chest of
But
treasure.
I'm only hoping that it's good, man. But
Man,
nothing about it looks
looks good.
anything like the film. Like, okay, look, Tom Holland, the casting is a whole nother thing, but the fact that the visual of it, besides like in the recent trailers, the third act, I only assume is the third act. I'm pretty sure it's the third act, but like that
Yeah,
island that they go on with the fucking great set piece of
the ships flying through the
the
air. Yeah,
ship in the eye, like two ships flying in the air. Looks great. I actually was like that. Okay, that looks like
yeah.
something I can get
They
behind.
spent some
That
money
looks
on
like
it, man.
Uncharted.
Yeah,
That's the only part that looks like Uncharted, though.
yeah,
Everything else about it looks like I'm watching something else. Like just I don't know what it is. It's just
yeah,
something else. Like it could be.
yeah,
And one of the worst things I can say is that it looks like Spider-Man. I don't know, whatever treasure home. What I don't know. Find the It just looks like a Spider-Man film because it's Tom Holland. I think it was really a big miscalculation to put
here's
Tom Holland in the role
the
and make it younger.
we talked about it via text this week before this episode, and I didn't know we were going to talk about Uncharted, but Why in the Sam hell do Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland look like they're playing the same character? Like Sully in the video games is very different than Drake.
I agree with you.
Um, and like, like they look the same. They
They
look the
do.
same, and it's like Tom Holland looks like a younger version of Mark Wahlberg. It's almost like I'm using too much of my hands because I'm upset about it. It's almost like they should have just used Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake,
Nathan
but
Drake.
they knew that wasn't gonna sell. They knew that wasn't gonna sell tickets, so you get Tom Holland, you tell an origin story, and look, I'm okay with it being an origin story. I don't really have that's not so much my problem. I mean, look, could you take Uncharted 1 and literally just shoot the cutscenes into a movie? Yes. And would people go watch it and love it? Probably. But
Yes.
look, if you're going to do an origin story, that's totally fine. My issue is if your goal is to recreate if you start the movie and your goal is to recreate Indiana Jones, look, that's lightning in a bottle. You're not
No,
going to do that.
it's not gonna happen.
No, like
Not gonna happen.
Indiana Jones exists. Like, yeah, they sold Indiana Jones. Steven Spielberg sold it as, his version of James Bond with more action adventure. That's how he originally sold it. And George Lucas was like, let's fucking do it. But like,
No.
that's lightning in a bottle. That's like, you're not gonna catch
Yeah.
that again.
No.
And if
I don't think so.
that's Tom Holland has said it's their mix of Indiana Jones and um and James Bond. And it's like, I don't know if that's
I,
the best thing.
that's a great point, and I want to bring that up because I had a point that is adjacent to that, which is, I think, one of the biggest things that I've absolutely that makes me cringe and that I hate coming out of this film's press is from Tom, and one of he comments about his own acting in the film, and I'm fine with actors commenting on their own insecurities about their performances. That's fine, but the thing that he said that worried me was the fact that he said he was most worried about the fact that he thought he was being too cool. He was
Whoa,
trying too
yeah.
hard to be cool, right? And here's the
Yeah.
point I want to make about that, and in conjunction with the whole James Bond thing, if that's what they were trying to go for. Our pantheon of adventure, this type of adventure film and protagonist, Indiana Jones. I
Right.
would put Rick O'Connell in there with the Mummy franchise, and then Nathan Drake
Video
in the
game series.
games.
Yeah.
Those protagonists aren't cool. Do you know what I mean? They're not trying to be cool. They're
No.
nerds. In
Yeah.
fact, they're like really kind of
Like
lame nerds. Like they
like
don't. They're
maybe
silly.
O'Connell can be passed as the coolest, but absolutely. Indiana
Well,
Jones is
I was gonna
so
argue
good.
what's great about them is that they do turn cool when they're in their mode, right? Like when they
Right.
turn up, that they're cool. Yeah, they're cool because they know what they're doing. But as a character, they're not trying to be. It's kind of like Spider-Man. Like they're not really trying to be cool. Like James
Right.
Bond. James Bond is trying to be cool.
Right.
Like he's always trying to be the guy in the room
Right.
that is the slickest, but not these three. They're not. Fucking Indiana Jones is a professor. He wears glasses like freaking Superman. He's a dork.
But look
Uh,
at the way he runs when he's running from the villagers at the very beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's got this like silly,
yeah, is
stupid
this
run.
like really weird? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Turn on the plane!
exactly.
Turn on the plane! Yeah.
And I would
Like,
agree. Rick O'Connell like has that sort of
could be
coolness
the
about him, but
coolest
even then,
one.
he is the coolest one by default.
Right.
Like, but by default. But even then, I wouldn't consider him like trying to be that cool.
I would
He
consider
tells
him
funny
brave.
jokes. He's brave, right?
He's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
witty. He's
So,
not any of that.
but he doesn't have that like suaveness to him. Like
No.
none of those. Nathan Drake doesn't have that. He's his own wife like loves him because he's like this dork. He's just
Yeah.
like this guy who spurts out
And he's like
silly jokes.
the
He
things that make the games the best is that he's, you know, he's getting himself into these absolutely
exactly
insanely
right,
stupid situations, and then he
right,
makes it worse, and then a massive set piece falls
right,
down, like Uncharted 4,
right.
where they're in the church clock tower, and then the whole church starts falling down.
Exactly.
Like that's yeah.
Exactly.
When John Watts, I know exactly the quote you're talking about. John Watts, they were doing Spider-Man No Way Home press, and John Watts had to tell Tom Holland said he still had his way too cool factor from Uncharted, so I had to,
Right.
and I was just like,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I was like, what? You were
yeah,
trying to
that
be
makes
like trying to be cool. Like that's not Nathan Drake. Like let's get rid of the other
Yeah,
two.
it's
That's
not
not Nathan
Nathan
Drake.
Drake.
Nathan is
Yeah,
not cool by default. He
no, he's
becomes
not.
cool when he's like on because he knows what he's fucking
Yes,
doing, and when he's in those
yes,
situations, like, oh, dude, that's fucking sick. And that's what's most relatable about him
yeah,
is that you see him and you see yourself
yeah,
in him. Like when you're on, you look like that, but
yeah,
when you're not, like, yeah, you're just like
yeah,
this normal dude who's a
yeah,
nerd who just loves like
yeah,
who obsesses about collecting shit like
yeah.
treasure or fucking vinyl pops. Like I see myself in Nathan,
Ed and I are gonna go
and
see
that's
that
what makes
movie
him so
together.
cool.
So
Hell yeah, we
yeah,
are. That's good, dude.
so
And we're
it's
gonna
gonna
fucking probably cry at the end of it out of sheer
sadness.
disappointment, probably.
Yeah,
But I really hope not.
I really
But
hope
I
it's
think
good
we
too.
are.
Yeah, uh,
Anyways,
I really
that's
hope
my
it's good
last. That
too.
was my last reserved. So do you have last
Um,
one, or should we move on?
that was my
You
last
felt
two. I was gonna say it the
okay.
very last thing. But yeah, I think I
All
hope
right.
it's good. But yeah, let's go
Me
ahead and
too.
move
Me
on
too.
to the
All right.
last.
Inconsequential viewing of
Okay.
this year. Um, so I brought that up. So why don't you start with this one?
Inconsequential. Oh, you want me to go first? And inconsequential.
Yeah.
So I've already said Aquaman.
Right.
Um, Babylon. That's in my inconsequential viewing, which Ed's not gonna like. La La Land was fine.
My
Ed's favorite
heart.
director is probably Damien Chazelle. I hope I said that right.
He's definitely one of my favorite directors of the
La La
modern
Land
era.
was
That's for
fine.
sure.
It was okay. I'm
Uh,
not gonna say it was good.
uh.
Um, I thought his Neil Armstrong movie wasn't good. What was that called?
Yes. Last Man. I
Last Man.
I don't. I love Last Man, but it wasn't what I was
It
expecting.
wasn't great to me.
His direction was like far from what I had the problem with, though. I'll say that. That's all I'll
Yeah,
say. Yeah.
go watch if you want to watch something. If you want to watch something that's better than Last Man, go watch the documentary Apollo about the moon landing.
Oh, dude, great pull. I saw that too. What a great documentary,
That
man.
was fantastic.
Anyways, yeah, we won't go into that, but
That was
watch that
fantastic. Yeah,
documentary.
watch that.
Wow, what a
Uh,
fantastic documentary. Agreed.
Anyway, and then yeah, I I have no interest in this movie at all. I had interest in Last Man because it was such a La La Land was such a huge thing, and I just mm, I'm just kind of like meh.
Okay.
I don't
Okay. I
inconsequential.
all right. In somewhat rescue to my boy Damon Chazelle.
Your boy, okay.
I will say it's not on any of my lists, so I wouldn't put it on inconsequential viewing. But that being said, again, it's one of those things where it's like it's nothing's really being said about it.
No,
And Damien has since Last Man, First Man.
First Man.
That wasn't even a joke. I don't know why I said Last
You
Man.
said Last Man the first time too, so I was
Did
like,
I?
no, I don't think
Oh, my
that's right.
bad.
But
Why did
go
I
ahead.
say that? So stupid. My apologies. First Man. Yeah, ever since First Man, I feel like they've failed to sort of put Damien back on as
Track.
like the top one of the
Mhm.
top directors out there. I
Right.
still believe very much that he is.
Okay.
If not La La Land, which is one of my favorite movies of that decade, I'll put
Mhm.
that out there now. I'm a La La Lander, whatever you want to say it. Whiplash. If you haven't seen Whiplash, that I would
Whiplash is
die
good.
for. Holy
Whiplash is
shit,
good.
Whiplash
I'll
is
give you
also
that.
one of the best in that genre.
Yeah.
Like Damien is a top tier director, and particularly for his freaking age, he's so young. Like he's insane. He's one of the youngest directors out there who's now been nominated for an Oscar, and
Yeah.
sadly was that infamous moment where it was taken under the rug from them by Moonlight. And I don't hate it though. I mean, Moonlight was great.
Moonlight was great.
But obviously, as a La La Lander, I fucking would have. I mean, La La Land was my movie that year. Anyways, yeah, this Babylon.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it either, but it's Damien Chazelle, and I'm going to see it because he's my boy, and I think it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, that's all I want to say. Is that
Okay.
let's not count Babylon out of the list. For anyone who gives a rat's ass about what I have to say.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I have to say. You're right. I do agree with you in some part though. I do
Yeah.
because we just
Okay.
haven't heard anything about it.
Why don't you
They
give me
really
one?
need to pick that back up.
Yeah.
All right. So one of mine is Moonfall, and that's coming out soon. And the only reason why I want to bring that up because I don't feel like anyone's gonna really give a fuck about that movie. If you don't know what it is, it's Roland Emmerich's new
Disaster movie.
he's disaster movie. He's really one of the only ones operating in that genre. So if you know disaster films, you know Roland Emmerich. He famously did Independence Day and the Day After Tomorrow. Which, by the way, so the only reason I bring it up is because I actually really, really love the Day After Tomorrow. I think it's my favorite disaster movie, and I think it's really underappreciated. If you haven't seen Day After Tomorrow, I would say go see it.
I
I
agree with that.
I
In the
I,
genre, yeah, it's probably
I
one of the
love it
best.
in the in the genre. I want to be
Yeah,
very specific. It's
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
genre. I think that movie's underrated. I think it has some great visuals. Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, and Dennis Quaid's in it. They're both
Yeah.
fantastic. The score is actually really underrated. Nobody
Okay.
remembers the score from that movie, but watch that movie again. That's a great fucking score. I still remember it.
We'll have to do a
It's a great
convince me
score.
on that.
I think we'll have to.
Yeah.
Let's review that, and maybe in terms of Moonfall, we might have to see it. But I've heard it's absolute shit, which I'm not surprised
I'm not
about.
watching Moonfall. I'm not paying
But
to
yeah,
watch
I
that
have.
movie.
So with Moonfall, yeah, that looks like absolute poop. And so I'm probably not gonna watch it unless it comes out on. When it will, it'll come out on streaming. I'll probably catch it then.
Oh yeah, it'll be
Way more films I'm more excited to see than Moonfall. But yeah, what a what a what a fall from grace, not to pun intended, but like,
yeah.
Independence Day, arguably, probably his everyone's favorite movie of his, but he had some really bit bangers back then. 2012, I would argue, was an absolute poop. That had some insane visuals in it.
I forgot he
But
did that.
the story's
They're
a little
driving in a limo and the dude jumps from one
I
plate
know.
to another plate.
I agree.
We're gonna
But there are some really great CGI moments in there that were greatly photographed that I really appreciate. Like that
Okay.
was never really
Okay.
seen before.
Okay. Well,
I
I'll
think
give
on
you
that
that.
scale. So I give 2012 a little bit of its due in its CGI department.
Okay.
And its scale and its epicness. But yeah, the story is pretty whatever. Anyways,
Interesting.
that's that. I
Um
just want to mention that because I think he was like one of my early directors that I thought was going to keep doing this well, and he just hasn't. And so
yeah.
whatever. Anyways,
Okay.
that's all I have to say about that. Unless you have anything to say about Moonfall, which I don't think you do.
I
But
don't. The only thing I have to say about Moonfall is whatever trailer house put together that trailer, fuck you guys, because it is the loudest trailer I've ever heard in my life, and I never think things are too loud.
Jesus
I
Christ.
wanted to get up and like go to the fucking projectionist or whoever runs that shit up there and be like, "Yo, turn this down." It is the loudest trailer I've ever heard, and it's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary, and I got visibly upset about it. I was like, "This is fucking stupid." So like, whatever trailer house it was, fuck you. Turn it down. It doesn't need to be that loud. Like, movies aren't that loud. There's no reason this trailer needs to be this loud. Like, I don't.
To be
Get out of
fair,
my
are you
face.
sure? Are you sure it's the mixing house or was it the
No.
theater house who could have?
I saw Spider-Man No Way Home 4 times in a movie theater. Every single time that
It
stupid
was loud as
trailer
hell.
played,
Okay, I
it
got
was
you. I
the
got you.
loudest thing I've ever heard. And then
Okay.
I've confirmed it with other people who have seen Spider-Man. That's the only one that people are going to theaters for right now. They all said, yeah, it was really loud. Like, no. That's the only thing I have to say about Moonfall. Go
They're
watch it if
taking
you want to.
the
But
death metal approach.
I
The
was
classic.
I was
Watch Moonfall.
I was so upset at how loud it was. I was like,
Halle Berry.
guys, can we not? This is really loud. I can't do
That
it.
is not the critique I was expecting, and I love it.
Oh,
I
so
love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right. Wow. All right. So whatever trailer house edited that, just take it down a notch. All
So I have one that's on inconsequential viewing.
Go
Maybe
for
a bit. Black Adam.
Mhm,
The
mhm.
Rock's playing Black Adam. It's got a pretty good cast. But that's it. Like, I don't know anything about it. I've seen nothing from it. The things they have released
That's
for
it.
it seem kind of cheesy, with The Rock like
Yeah.
voiceovering, "The power of the DCU will shift forever." Like, you got to give me
Okay.
more than that. Look, The Rock is The Rock, and most of everything that The Rock puts out is enjoyable, is what I'll say. But yeah, it's on my inconsequential viewing because I just don't know anything about it, and it's hard to me. Like, again, what they've put out has been cheesy. So if you have anything to say about it, go ahead.
I hear you. A little bit. I had that on my reserving hype
Hmm.
list. But I feel it's the same thing like with all the other ones. Like we just don't know too much about it yet, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be excited to see more. I think the Rock for me is is hit or miss. I think
In
more
terms
of the
of
times
yeah,
he
yeah,
in
he hit.
his filmography and what he produces, I think, but more or less, I think I actually like most of the things he does, but it's
Right.
still like hit or miss for me. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think he's clearly been wanting this project to be up for a while. I think he's 100% in it,
Yeah.
and so I think we can
Yeah.
expect top notch, Dwayne Johnson. He's not going to be fucking around
Yeah.
with this. Him being, this is his true superhero. This could be his right.
Yeah.
This is going to be his.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to bring it. The director is this is his he's Spanish American film director, and so I'm going to butcher this name, but I believe it's Jean Colette Serra. He
Did
has
he do Jungle
done
Cruise?
he did not. No, he didn't. But what I'll tell you what
Oh.
he has done. He's done. Wait, let me check if this is also it is. He is the guy behind the perpetuation of Liam Neeson as your action dad. He has done Unknown, Nonstop, Run
Oh
All Night,
no.
and The Commuter. He's done all of
Liam
not all,
Neeson's.
but most of Liam Neeson's stay-at-home dad fantasy films. I say that
Whoa.
mean, but there's some good movies there. But yeah, he's the director of all those.
He also did The
Take that as you
Shallows.
want, and The Shallows, which apparently was good, and or an Orphan
I didn't.
that
I
was
never
good
saw
too.
Orphan, but yeah,
You
yeah.
might want to
He
stick
did
to
do. He
the.
did do Jungle Cruise.
Oh, he did what?
He did
Oh,
do
my
Jungle
bad, my
Cruise.
bad.
I was like, I
Oh,
think The
that's why.
Rock's
Well,
worked
then
with
that's how they knew each other.
The Rock.
Okay,
Only works with directors he's
my
worked
bad.
with before.
I've never seen Jungle Cruise yet. I know you haven't. You said you liked it. I haven't seen it yet. Sorry.
It was
So
fun. It
I need
was
to catch
fine.
that though.
Yeah,
It looks fun.
yeah,
But he's the director. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
So there you go. So hit
yeah,
or misser kind of guy,
yeah, yeah. All right, give me
but
your
it
next
seems
one.
like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't know.
So
Everything has been released for. It seems very cheesy.
yeah,
Like I don't know. I don't know if I can take The Rock
yeah.
that seriously.
Probably. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I have to say about that for now.
Okay.
Morbius for me. Morbius. We've talked about it
Wasn't even
again
gonna mention it.
before. I know. That movie. I'm almost like I'm out because it's in the vein of Venom. Venom movies. I absolutely hate those movies.
I
And
actually tell
so
you
this
this.
looks like it's the same thing. Go for it.
I will go watch this movie
Yeah.
in hopes that the post-credit scene is Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
I think that's
Okay.
why
I'll
they
give you
pushed
that.
the movie. Remember, why push the
Yeah, we
movie
talked
from
about it. That's true.
April, whatever? There wasn't a movie coming out in January that was going to take the box office anyway, but you moved it to April 1st, and I think it's because they
they shot something with Andrew.
someone shot a cameo for something, and that's what I'm
It very
hoping
dude.
for.
It very well might be Toby too, because there's that shot that's still from one of the early
Which is his
releases of
suit.
the
Yeah.
with Toby's suit on the wall. It's a piece
Yes.
of like graffiti art or something, or a
Or it could
sticker. It looks like a sticker, like or
it looks
something.
like a
It's
sticker,
like
yeah.
that's freaking Toby. Like so
Yeah.
that's the one part where I'm interested because it's like they clearly mentioned Venom, but
Mhm.
why is Toby on there? Like, are we in this? What universe are we in? Like, what is that? So
I don't
that's
know,
intriguing. But everything
but
else I don't give a shit about.
but I agree. Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe
but
there'll be
yeah,
maybe the scene will be on Instagram and I won't need to go watch it.
I'm inevitably most of these movies I will see because of my job.
Right.
But if it wasn't, I probably would just wait for that one or even not just bother, to be honest, unless I hear something like that where it's like
Right, right,
whoa,
right,
or
right.
it's actually good. So
Right.
Morbius, yeah.
Morbius. That makes sense. That's I
And
only
then
have one more,
okay, go for
and
it.
um
Let's
it
wrap it up.
became yeah, it became in what's the word? Inconsequential watching for me.
Inconsequential.
Uh After I heard the cast a little bit more. And it's a movie by David Leitch. He's the
Oh,
guy that he teamed up with Chad Selesky to
mm-hmm.
do the first John Wick, and then he went off and did Hobbs and Shaw, which had some cool scenes.
The
Um,
hell's David Leitch doing?
he's doing a movie this year called Bullet Train, and it has Brad Pitt. Let me give you the premise really quick.
What the fuck? I did not know this
Uh,
was coming out.
yeah, 5 assassins aboard a fast-moving bullet train find out their missions have something in common. Um, and it started out really cool. I mean, Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, uh, Hiroyuki Sanada, Andrew Koji. Like, looks. It sounds like it's gonna be like a really fun
Bro.
action film. And then all of a sudden, Sandra Bullock will also play an assassin, and it kind of lost me a little bit. And then
Sandra Bullock broke the straw on the
Sandra
camel's
Bullock is
back
what
for you.
kind of broke the back for me a little bit because it all sounded so freaking cool.
Oh
And then
man,
I'm just like, oh
that's
no.
hilarious. That is
Um,
hilarious.
it just feels like to me it now became inconsequential watching for me just because maybe I'm wrong and maybe Sandra Bullock isn't playing assassin and maybe she's playing the girl that people are trying to protect her, save her,
Mm,
not. But like you had these really cool action stars in what could have been like really unique fighting styles. Obviously, Brad Pitt, the dude can just like he can fight, he can do action choreography,
yeah,
and like all these other guys, Andrew Koji, that dude can fight.
warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah,
He was
warrior.
also Storm Shadow in the Snake Eyes film, which wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
You
So,
mentioned that.
yeah, Andrew Koji is the guy I think.
I'm not gonna lie though. Okay, first of all, this is my first time hearing about this project at all. So thank you for bringing it up because wow, this cast though is pretty fucking stacked, dude. This is surprising. Yeah, as you said, Brad Pitt, Andrew Koji, Aaron Taylor, I mean, Brian Tyree Henry's in it. Zazie Beetz, Michael Shannon is in this bitch. I'll
Yeah, it
watch
looks
anything with
cool.
Michael fucking Shannon, bro.
Yeah,
Logan
I
Lerman,
agree.
who's fairly Hiroyuki Sanada. Come on, man. Karen Fukuhara, who, if you don't know, played in the Suicide Squad, played what's her face? That girl with the sword. I forget her name. Sorry, but she's more famous now for The Boys, where she
Yeah, she's in The
plays.
Boys. What did she play in
Yeah,
the
I
what's
forget
her
the
name in
character's
the
name, but she's
Katana?
the girl. She's the girl in The Boys.
I think it's
Uh,
Katana.
she plays Katana. Yeah, in the Suicide no, yeah, the Suicide Squad. Sorry, the original, the Suicide Squad.
Oh, just Suicide
So
Squad.
but you're right. I mean, besides Sandra Bullock, who I mean, whatever. I don't know. Maybe she can play it. There's plenty of other casting here that could offset that. So
Right.
also Antoine Fuqua is producing. That's okay. You know what? I'm gonna put this on my reserved hype because we haven't seen a. Once I see the first trailer, I think we're gonna know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna
Once
be
that
pretty
first
good.
trailer comes out, that might shift. But
Right.
you've shown me the light on this one. I'll put this on my reserved hype. I mean, the premise in and of itself is pretty cool. But we have seen the whole strangers on a
On
thing
a train or something.
on
Yeah.
a form of transportation that meet up and they're like, oh, we have something in common. Like, that's been done, but this sounds cool. A cool play on that. All right. I'm in it. I'm on
Yeah.
for it. I'll say that.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
what's your last one?
These are two just kind of just boring. We don't have to talk too much about these, but I had this on my list. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore, especially that one. That just needs to die. Let's like
Yeah,
the
they need to.
Fantastic Beasts franchise needs to die.
This is
No
the
one
third
cares
movie
about
then
it.
that though.
Yeah. No one I don't think anyone cares about. I don't think the actors care anymore.
No,
Just because
I
the
really
second one was
don't.
just absolute poop.
Yeah,
And it has all that thing. They had to recast Johnny Depp with Mads Mikkelsen, and that's confusing as fuck. Like, whatever. The whole thing just needs to die. I don't even know if Harry Potter heads are wanting to see this film.
I
So
don't
I don't
think
think
so. I think
anyone's.
it's kind of
Yeah.
dead.
And then Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like, the first movie was fine, but it still wasn't one of those that I'd put up as like a great adaptation of a video game movie. But it has Jim Carrey in it. I didn't hate it, but also I'm like, but I could skip it. I could totally just watch that while I'm doing laundry, I think. And
That's what I did. Yeah, I didn't watch the first one until it was fine,
yeah,
just fine. That's the best thing I can say about it.
yeah. Okay, man. Well, that's it. That
That's
is our
it.
2022. Look forward. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And a little bit of the news. Other than that is I don't know. Is there anything else you want to bring up? Anything that's coming up? You can tell
No,
anybody that we want to
no,
talk
no.
about.
Next week we'll be back to the regular movie review or
All right.
TV review, and then fun game.
Okay, okie dokie. Well, guys, we really
Yeah.
appreciate you listening as always. Hope you had a good time. That has been your slice of movie news this week. I'm Ed. You're Alex. Love you guys. See
Thank
you
you
next
guys.
time.
Later.
Bye.